And pound it inside and take advantage of the fact they don't have the big horses inside. However, they have John Lambert, who they picked up from Kansas City. John is 6'10", and Big Dave Corzine, who came from DePaul. You may remember him. Corzine is a big guy, 6'11", 275 pounds. Mike Mitchell at 6'8", the other forward. Tap goes to Sidney Moncrief. Here comes Sidney to Quinn Buckner. Bucks in traveling green, the Spurs in home white. Here's Moncrief with the crossover on Gervin. No, look at them pound the boards already as Mitchell gets out on the fly. That's Johnny Junior Moore from Texas University. And Moore has outstanding quickness. You try and channel him to the sides. He moves the ball around. Good defensive player as well. Lanier. It's 2-2. So Big Bob Lanier, one of the leading scorers on the Bucks team. Bucks have good balance scoring with Moncrief leading the way. Sidney coming in at 19-5. Brian Winters on the bench at 16-3, following behind. Marcus Johnson at 15-2. There's John Lambert. He's been around a few semesters.
Yeah, that shows you what we know, doesn't it? Lanier goes outside right away rather than inside, and of course they fear his outside shot, Eddie. He's probably the best shooting center in basketball. Johnny Moore's a guy they want to try to check his penetration if they can, but he's the guy that's going to try to control their offense.
All right, they go Lambert to Moore. Moore was originally drafted by Seattle, but came down here in a deal right away as a #2 pick. Gervin, the Iceman, the leading scorer in the NBA. There's Mickey Johnson. He had it taken away. Crossover, Mitchell. Big legs. A kid from Auburn and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was a good deal for them. And it's 4-2.
The Spurs, by the way, a good rebounding team at almost 46 rebounds a game compared to the Bucks at just over 43. So they're a club that will go to the glass both offensively and defensively. And here you'll see the replay. Mickey Johnson trying to take the ball inside, gets called for the foul.
And right away the Bucks take a 20-second timeout. You get one per half per team. And Don Nelson trying to talk what they're doing here to try and get this thing back on the right track. They're not that far out of it. It just started 4-2. This program authorized by Milwaukee Pro, intended solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any rebroadcast or other use without the express written consent of Milwaukee Pro and WVTV is prohibited. The announcers for this broadcast are retained by Milwaukee Pro Sports and Services, Inc., with the approval of WVTV. So here they come. George Gervin, he's 6'8". He's a string bean. They call him the Iceman. He rarely perspires. He is perhaps the most proficient and productive guard that the league has seen. He's won 3 scoring titles. First time a guard has ever done that in the history of the NBA. Johnny Lambert. Lambert back to Moore. He doesn't get a lot of attention. Moore on the outlet off the miss shot. Lanier up to Buckner. Drop, leave, feed. Moncrief has to change up, and he missed it, but he was fouled by Moore. So Moore, the guard, transitioning back, 6'3", 175, pounding on Moncrief, and Moncrief will go to the line as we look at it again.
Now, this is something that San Antonio is very aware of, that the Bucks will do. Buckner was the guy that released, then Moncrief got in on the break. You see the foul. You see Moncrief double pumping there. Maybe that's a good foul because it puts him on the line, even though he's a good free throw shooter. That's still a little bit more difficult than a layup. But the Spurs concerned about the Bucks coming out at the jump shooter, releasing and going on down the floor. Therefore, they're going to have to try to get someone else back other than just the shooter, because it's difficult to release the ball, come down, and take off.
You got a frog in your throat tonight?
Sounds like it a little bit, doesn't it?
Feed it. Feed it, my man. Up they come. Corzine. Bucks putting a little pressure on him. Mickey Johnson, who already has 1 foul, playing on John Lambert. Lambert was a very fine player at Southern Cal. There's Mitchell, running left-hand hook. No, taken away by Mickey. Outlet to Buckner, one-on-one on Moore. Drop, leave. Mickey Johnson from Quinn Buckner. Nice work right there.
And you see the Bucks coming out with that running game that we mentioned prior to the game. They want to run the Spurs club. Now, Stan Auerbach may want to counter, I don't know, and try to slow it up. But I think if he does that, he's playing into the hands of the Bucks, because the Bucks defense can really dig in.
Gervin down to Corzine on Big Lanier. Together. And Lanier on the foul. And Corzine at the line. Corzine, an interesting study from DePaul University, an All-American.
Now here you see the clear out. Corzine can shoot it. He's a player the Bucks know they have to get up and play. Some of the other guys like George Johnson, when he's in, oh, look at that. Lanier went straight up. He was really upset with that call. He felt like he did not foul. But when George Johnson comes in, they'll cheat on him. They won't go out and play him for the jumper. Corzine, you must.
72% career free throw shooter. Right around 8 rebounds a game. He broke a lot of George Mikan scoring records at DePaul. Here's the Bucks breaking the pressure. Up to Marcus on Corzine. Lays it in. How he protects the ball with a body with the big man laying back underneath.
And Eddie, the Bucks handled that press well. It was a 2-2-1. They got the ball into the middle. Once you do that, it's a quick break and potentially a good shot like the one the Bucks did get.
Offensive foul. This time it'll go on Corzine, trying to set the pick and free the way for Gervin, the Iceman. George Gervin, he calls himself the Iceman. He's got a little son. He calls him Ice Cube.
And he's one of the main reasons they get so many shot attempts. I'll talk about that during the game as Lanier gets potential three-pointer inside.
And let's hope that Gervin is sitting on a glacier tonight, because the Bucks need to cool him down, although he's going to get his points.
Now this is where the Bucks feel they can get the ball quite frequently, and look how deep Lanier is when he even catches the ball. Then he goes into that super fake, which so often he'll draw that defensive player off the floor and into the foul.
You got two big front end loaders in the middle with Corzine and Lanier. It's a question of who weighs more. I think Corzine's a little heavier than Bob, might be an inch or so taller. Here's Gervin, played by Moncrief. He always draws the toughest. Lambert, pretty good shooter, not a bad rebounder in college. In fact, one of the best in the history of Southern Cal. Marcus Johnson under control to Bob Lanier. Lanier did a nice job of popping out there to get loose. Mickey Johnson fights, landed the Giants in the paint, on the trampoline, and out of there is Corzine. Up to Junior Moore. Junior, a man that you've got to force back to the left. You cannot give him his right hand. There he is. He's on the right side. That's where he likes to go. Bang. Must force him left. 11-9, Bucks by 2. Moncrief and the Bucks trying to put the pressure on the Spurs at the other end. The Spurs will have to get back on the transition. Buckner, that's not there. Two Spurs fight. Corzine, loose ball foul. Mickey Johnson, he's got 2 so far.
Mickey Johnson a little upset with that one, because typically when a player has inside position and you go from behind, they'll call that play, or they'll call that foul.
Here's Mitchell. And an in-and-outer, and a rebound by Mickey Johnson. Mickey in the Bucks with Buckner in the middle on the break, trying to get to Mickey, and a foul on Lambert. Now Johnny Moore, who came from Texas, has a nickname, and the nickname is Junior Moore. So rather than confuse you folks who may know him as Johnny, you might know that his nickname, and they even use the nickname in the introductions, is Junior Moore. So you know that, you got it, put it in your book.
JJR.
Well, 11-9. Some of the people here didn't know that. Moncrief inside. Good move by Sidney. Came up short as he came right up in the face of George Gervin. There's Junior Moore. Up they come on the baseline. Mike Mitchell. Off the rim. Rebound by Marcus Johnson. Johnson, look at the Bucks. They're trying to really set the tempo, aren't they? Back to Lanier. Under control. Big Bob Lanier. And the Bucks with Buckner out of there. And Milwaukee leads it 13-9.
The Bucks that time, Eddie, had 5 men on the break, and you can see how they really want to come out. And the Spurs, they better get the ball to Gervin. He hasn't touched it in some time.
They've really done a job keeping it away from him. There's Mike Mitchell. Meanwhile, Mike Mitchell has handled the ball. He's got 4 points. 13-11 the score. There's Bob Lanier. Lanier has been running at a breakneck pace. Underneath they go. There's Moncrief. They got it inside, and he did a 180 in the air to get that ball loose. How did he do that?
Beautiful shot. You saw the double team come over as Gervin tried to front Moncrief. Excellent pass from Lanier. Then he just had such a soft touch as he laid it up. I thought it might hit the back rim and come out.
There's your backdoor foul, and that is the Iceman from Junior Moore.
Oh, that is a rather nice play. He fakes coming out for the jumper. The pass was right on the money.
15-13 score of the basketball game. Bucks by 2. 6:53 to play here in the period. Buckner. Lanier flashes middle. He's got one-on-one action with Corzine. There it is. Good pump fake for the big guy. Corzine 6'11". To Moore. Lambert right wing. Nice move by Moore. Well, he's the reason why they gave James Silas a ticket to Cleveland. Moore has done everything plus more, according to the coaches. Mickey Johnson, he's fouled. He'll go to the line. He made a tough shot out of that one. Boy, they were right on top of Mickey, and Mickey will go to the stripe when we return after this timeout. 6:25 to play here in the period. The score, the Bucks 17 and the Spurs 15. And as usual, we have a lot of folks from Milwaukee. Steve Reski's here. Mark Schmaltz, Bob Drew, Joel Dilley, they're all here. Group from Janesville, Wisconsin, Terry Hitchcock. Group from La Crosse, Joni, Dave, Dale, Linda, and Dean, the Beinborns, and Kelly Ostrander. Some of the folks that are here. Mickey Johnson makes it a 3-point play. 18-15. Mickey Johnson coming into the ball game, averaging 13.2. Make that 11.9. Quickly comes Moore. Drop, leave, feed, Mike Mitchell. Bucks went for Moore. He penetrated, drew the crowd, and dropped it off. Nice job by little Johnny Moore.
Eddie, I've seen Johnny Moore have a couple of just outstanding games, both inside and out. As the Bucks there overpass just a bit into Moncrief, but Johnny Moore is tough to check.
There's Gervin. He just floats through the air, and the Spurs lead by 1. 19-18. The Bucks are trying to run with San Antonio. I don't know that that's such a good idea. That's probably one of the better parts of San Antonio's game, although they don't run now like they used to a couple of years ago when Doug Moe was here.
Right. I don't think they're that good of a running team now compared to the Bucks, Eddie. I think the Bucks actually are better.
Here's Buckner. Moore with a rebound. Looks to outlet. Little ball fake action there, and up he comes. Dumps to Lambert. He's wide open. He's got to make that one. He doesn't. Well, those are the kind you have to make to stay in the league, folks. 18 points for Milwaukee so far. Up comes Quinn Buckner. Tries to reverse back to the baseline. Now they swing it out on top. Lanier inside. Good move. Moncrief. Block shot by Corzine. And with it, Mike Mitchell. They go to Gervin. Look out on Lanier. 3-on-1. And they lead 21-18. 21-18. There's Dave Corzine. He's become a pretty good player here in the pros since he left Washington, came here for a couple of number 2 draft choices, and that ended up being a good decision by the San Antonio club.
Yeah, big guy showing he can get in on the break and get his opportunities as well as those little quick guys.
Marcus and Quinn started to the lane the same time, had to back it up. Reverse bounce feed, Lanier from Mickey. And it goes down. Well, I'm going to have myself a Miller on that one. I didn't think that was going to stay. Be a good time for you to do the same thing right now. Miller time. Why not?
Gervin, by the way, Eddie, playing with that right hand a little. He's had a problem with a tendon in that middle knuckle. It's really affected his shooting, believe it or not. Hard to believe.
It really has. He works extra hard, too. When he's got problems, he just goes out, puts a little bit more time in before the game. We've got a foul call.
You know, Eddie, and I think that's a good point. As the foul is on Moncrief, I believe, as Gervin tried to come around the screen with Moncrief on him. Catching's in the game. Brian Winters in the game. We'll have Lanier and Buckner out. But something for the young people. Here, Gervin is one of the greatest offensive players to ever play the game, and he puts in extra time every day on shooting all by himself.
Okay, now the Bucks are overplaying more, try and force him to the right hand. And the report that I had was you can't give him the right, you got to force him left. And look at Gervin will use the old left hand. Well, Eddie, 3:20 the score of the basketball game. San Antonio by 3.
To come back to that, I think the Bucks might want to shade him the direction where there's the most help, and that might change each time down the floor.
Brian Winters looks to try and get to Mickey. Now Marcus clears across the lane. Brian gets it down underneath, and Marcus, little movement underneath, and a foul call. Marcus actually shuffled the feet. They gave it to him, and a foul call on John Lambert. John, I don't realize, I don't know that a lot of the folks realize what this San Antonio club has done as we look at the replay. You see him move the old feet a little bit, and the foul underneath. But in 5 years in the NBA, San Antonio has a 58% winning percentage. They've won 3 divisional titles, and only Philadelphia, LA, and Phoenix have had a higher winning percentage in the last 5 years. So they're really an outstanding team, and they've been in the playoffs every year since the 2 leagues merged.
Well, they're one of those situations on the miss there by Marcus Johnson. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. They have great seasons. They get into the playoffs, but they seem to, they don't quite have the right type of horses to pull it off in the playoffs.
Just don't seem to have enough. You saw Stan Hall back there, coach, a moment ago. Marcus hot pretzel. He's got 2.
Oh, that was a beautiful pass by Brian Winters, Eddie. He saw Marcus out of the corner of his eye. You got to have that mid-vision, that peripheral vision, and Marcus then took it from there.
Peripheral or peripheral?
Peripheral.
Peripheral.
Mid-vision.
I like that better.
Yeah.
Mike Mitchell.
You didn't know what that was, did you?
No, I did. That was a Brown counter expression.
Oh, no. That was on my test once in Milwaukee when I took a test.
Oh, I know who gave it to you, too.
Yeah, you do.
Marcus with a little reverse right there. You talk about hot pretzels. That's one of Marcus's shots, and he can grows wings and goes up and starts fanning that ball around in the air. And suddenly the Bucks have scored 4 and lead by 1. Brian Winters playing on Johnny Moore. There's Gervin off the pick, comes to the middle on the curl, and a running hook. No one reacted to get to him, but you can't stop him. He had 48 against the Celtics 2 nights ago.
And they'll mix their offense up with the point offense, Gervin low. At other times, they'll give him the ball out high.
There's Marcus Johnson shooting on John Lambert. Marcus with 8. Bucks 26-25 by 1. Yeah, they're ready to have fun in the old hemisphere tonight. There they go to Mitchell. Mickey trying to deny the move. Mitchell with a good, strong move. Mitchell, good numbers offensively. While he was with Cleveland, he was their most productive player. He averaged 24.5 a year ago. Mike Mitchell can score. Here's Moncrief. They double him up. He goes back door. How did he get there? Block shot clean. Gets it back. It won't go. The honeycomb and the pop out. And he'll go to the line on the foul.
Little hairspray will help, huh?
27-26. Moncrief. He'll go to the line and see if he can spray the nets right now.
Eddie, you know, San Antonio is a club that can come out and run. We've talked about that. They're a club that gets a number of offensive rebounds. They get a lot of shots up as Sidney misses the first. In the same number of games, coming into this game, the Spurs have played 58 games, so have the Bucks. The Spurs have 374 more field goal attempts than the Bucks. Now, that's a lot because you know the Bucks run.
And they also go to the line, John, and if it comes down to a close game, there could be problems because they're a 79% free throw shooting team, Milwaukee 75. Brian Winters and the Bucks trying to put wall-to-wall pressure on, committing the foul. George Johnson has come in, as has Tinkerbell Gene Banks. Banks, the rookie from Duke. He is a big, strong kid. He'll come in at that power forward position against the Bucks, and Mike Mitchell will square off the other side. George Johnson, the center, is in the ball game. He's had a lot of problems this year with pneumonia, bronchitis that developed into pneumonia, and then he came back with a sinus infection and has had 2 miserable months and has drained him a lot. This man, of course, again, another outstanding year. #1 in the NBA in scoring 33.1 points per game. He is a 28 point per game career scorer and shooting 51% this year, 53% career. 6-time All-Star, George the Iceman Gervin.
Definitely has to be one of the top offensive players to ever play the game.
Maybe
Eddie,
the.
Let's tell people to keep their eye on Gene Banks. He's a young player. He got a lot of playing time in exhibition. He hasn't played as much as the season has gone along, but now over the last few weeks, Stan Auerbach using him more, and he's responded well.
Here's the clear out. Marcus with a tough fadeaway on Mitchell, who played some good defense. The Spurs have really worked on their defensive game. As I mentioned before, never known for it. That was the first thing Stan Auerbach did, was come in and put defense on the blackboard and taught him how to spell it. Gervin. Rebound. Moncrief. Bridgman is in there also for the Bucks right now. Junior trying to motion the rest of the crowd up. Junior will set up, try and pin down. No, he gets the pick. He gets the ball. There he is. Bango.
Okay,
nice
Eddie,
play.
good point here. Prior to the game, the Bucks coaches knew that in the past, Junior Bridgman has been successful at that type of play. Coming through, popping out the other side, getting an open jump shot on the Spurs.
31-29, Milwaukee by 2. Moore works up against Bryant. Gets him down, and Mitchell turns in on Sidney Moncrief. They've got Moncrief dropping back now on Mitchell. Pick up the defensive assignments for you, see who we have. Moore playing up on Brian Winters. Harvey Catchings played by George Johnson. Johnson, one of the top shot blockers in the league. He's won 2 block shot titles. Bryant looks for the pick and roll, doesn't have it, so he leans in and off balance, hits the shot.
Boy, he read that well, Eddie. He waited just long enough for the man who set the screen to clear through. That was Harvey Catchings, which made their defense adjust. That left him open just for a moment. That's all he needed.
Turnover. The last time these two teams met, San Antonio was beaten by the Bucks 105-89 in Milwaukee. They had 20 turnovers. Those turnovers very, very key in that loss for the San Antonio Spurs. Mitchell goes out. Who have they replaced him with? They've got Banks. They've got Roger Fegley, who's come in the game. Gervin, Moore. They've got a very small lineup in there now. So they've got Fegley, who's a guard forward, playing against Bridgman. That could be money in the bank time. If they go to Junior on Fegley, who's not a great defensive player, he's an offensive player, they may be able to light San Antonio up and build a lead. They lead by 4.
And that's probably the most used play in professional basketball. Just one screen pinned down for the shooter.
Boy, look at the way they double Gervin. Moore down the lane with an alley-oop. Got away from Quinn, who was doubling on the ball, and Harvey tried to get over to help, not in time. 8 points now for Moore, 35-33. Both these coaches really going to the tactics now. Junior, they let him go. He got open for a moment there. That's the end of the period. And then on Sunday the 14th, the Utah Jazz. So those are games, and we'll tell you more about those as we go along. All right, now here's Mike Bratz, who has come in. Number 3 draft choice of Phoenix a few years back from the Stanford University campus. Now an offensive foul is called on George Johnson to try and free up Gervin at the top. Mike Dixon, Debbie Curtis, Diane, they're all here tonight rooting for the Buckaroos. 35-33 by 2. Bridgman, Bryant on the cut through, got the high pick off the iron and out. And George Johnson, who does very little scoring, to Gervin, to Gene Banks. Banks wants to be a politician. One day he'd like to be the governor of Pennsylvania. That's his home state. Played in Philly at Overbrook High. Came out of Duke University on the miss. Here come the Bucks.
Well, from what I know of him, he's got the personality. He might be there. He's a sharp young man. He's pretty aggressive. And Buckner on the baseline for 2.
And you better tell Junior Bridgman that he made a nice pass and give him credit for an assist.
No. I'm not going to tell him that.
we kid Junior a lot because usually we say, Junior, you're the shooter in this club. You're not supposed to be passing.
Here's the same play. Junior runs at the other end. This one's for Fegley. Just pop out behind the screen. It's quite simple, but it's effective if the screen is set well.
Fegley is 6'6". Bradley, originally drafted by Washington, played in New Jersey, Cleveland, and here in a very short amount of time. 4 years, 4 teams. Inside they go. That's a roadblock coming. He forces it up on the iron and out, and that is Gervin. Gervin ahead to Bratz. Bratz is 6'3". Very good free throw shooter, not much speed. George Johnson, Fegley looks for the screen, gets it from Gervin. How about that? Fegley screen from Gervin, and he gets 2. And the Iceman showing that he can play a little team basketball as well. 4 points for Roger Fegley. 37-37, a tie.
And Fegley's a player you know you must put him, force him to put the ball on the floor. He can shoot it very well, and he can go fairly deep.
Bridgman from Bryant, 2 points.
He's shooting it nicely, Eddie, and he told me after the game the other night in Atlanta that foot is still bothering him, but he has to get some playing time now. He doesn't want to force it too much, but he must.
Bratz. You folks in Sheboygan know what that's all about. Different guy, however. Here's Bratz, 3-pointer. He got it. He's their #1 3-point shooter. He's like a lot of guys. He can sit outside that line, but he has a hard time when he gets inside. He's primarily the kind of guy that'll take it down, move the ball around, try and set it up for you. And on the strength of the 3-pointer, they lead by 1, 40-39.
Actually, Eddie, he's taken 84 of those. He's made 26. That's 31%. As Brian Winters counters. But Bratz, we saw him in Phoenix. He's not ashamed to take that 3-pointer.
Brian Winters, the purest of the pure. Stand all back with that hair that looks like it was combed in a Vegematic. They come and ball deflected on a Gervin attempted shot that time. Who got that?
Who? I don't know.
Right, now here comes Mitchell back in the game, and out goes Gervin. Gervin's a kind of a fellow that occasionally he'll get off to a slow start in the first half, but look out. When it comes back to second half basketball, he can light you up big. I mean big. Fegley knocked away by Buckner. Back into the hands of Fegley. He's a shooter. He hung it down to Gene Banks. So Gene Banks, 6'8", 220 pounds, a rookie, and very well put together. Buckner on the penetration. Knocked away. Fegley's got it. They lead by 1. Here they come to Bratz. Looks outside to Fegley. And now George Johnson comes into the picture. He rarely shoots it outside of 5 feet. Here's Mitchell. He is a scoring machine. Inside to Banks. Shovels it back to Fegley. Good pass. And the Bucks doubling on the ball are getting beat as the Spurs are finding the open man very well.
Well, the Spurs continue to move the ball around fairly well. Fegley's man leaving him for the double team. That's leaving him open, and that's the guy you don't want to leave open if you can help it.
Okay, now you've got Cummings played by Mike Mitchell. Mitchell 6'8", Pat 6'9.5". Gets a pick from Cummings. Brian Winters, bango. He rubbed Fegley off just enough time to get Brian away. Brian shoots that ball a little bit to the right side of his forehead, and Fegley, trying to come off the pick, could not get there in time. O'Brien had a bit of an advantage there. Good pick by Cummings. Here's Banks. Step out. They drive to the back door, and Harvey Catchings with a block and a foul. Well, they tried to switch defensively that time, and the Bucks trying to jump switch back got beat a little bit, and Catching had to come over and help out. He catches the foul. Here it is.
Here's an example. Now, the Bucks defense does plan to try to push baseline, but you want to try to cut off, and I think Brian was trying to perhaps do that at that point, but Banks got by him. Harvey had to come back in. You saw him get the block, but the body contact was there.
Good shooting in the first period. Field goal percentage shooting was well over 50%. As the Spurs ended up shooting 63% and the Bucks 60%. Rebounding Milwaukee 11-9. Spurs out assisted the Bucks 9-7. That's about on target. They average about 28 assists a game. Bryant, they ran that little stack inside. Bryant from about 6 feet out, 45-45. Nice execution.
Boy, Bryant is so good in so many situations with that shot. He knows when to lighten up on it, and that time he came from under the basket, as you could see. But he's been shooting the ball very well.
Well, he's smart, John, and there's a lot to be said. You have ability, you have quickness, but you have a head like Brian Winters has got. You can do a lot of things and create on the floor. Junior not happy about the foul. He's saying, hey, Terry Durham, I didn't commit the foul.
Okay, here it is here. Banks showing some quickness. He goes back to the base, but Harvey helps cut it off right there. Mitchell's good in that situation, but as Harvey releases, that opens up the inside, and Junior gets the foul on the lean-in.
Now, actually, Banks leaned into Junior before that and committed a foul. They did not call it. Now, here's a figure to remember about the Spurs. When they shoot 50% or better, they're 24-2 this year. So they're well over 50% right now. The Bucks have got to find a way to try and cool them down. As a team over the year, they shoot 49%. The Bucks 51%. There's Junior Bridgman. We don't want to bore you with these numbers, but sometimes they are significant. Bryan in the miss. Cummings out rebounded by Roger Fegley. Fegley comes down to have a one-man advantage. Bratz in the cut through. There's Mitchell. A block. That would have been good had it gone. It was not good, but a foul is called on the play. And Harvey Catchings, I believe, has caught another one. 47-45, the third team foul by the Bucks.
All right, we're seeing the Spurs get the ball out nicely. Fegley with a good rebound, but look how he catches the trailer, who is Mitchell. And a lot of times when you clear through and spread out, if you're one of the lead men, that opens it up for the trailers. It did just enough for Mitchell to get inside, draw the foul.
And Cummings was the man that gets the foul. He got it before Harvey got to the man with the ball. So Mitchell with a chance to put them up by 4 and does. 49-45.
You know, Eddie, that's something for these young people to remember. A lot of times on a break, don't just come up the floor and stop. Either fan out or continue on through.
Junior, very special. He was fouled, the Bucks said no, and Cummings underneath got fouled as the shot was blocked. Bucks trailed by 4. Junior Bridgman thought he got fouled. He rarely misses a shot that badly. He said, you think I fire up air balls like that all the time?
Well, you see Junior leaning that time. When you throw up an air ball, a lot of times you are hit, but Pat with a good move here gets Mitchell off the floor in the air and then takes it back into him, even though the rejector was standing right there. That's George Johnson.
They have gone to the free throw line about 100 times more this year than the Bucks have. And this man, Pat Cummings, at the stripe, normally a very fine shooter. Cummings this year, 78%, makes 1 of 2. The Bucks are not having a good night at the line, Johnny Mac. They're 5 for 9.
And you realize with
6 for 10 now.
Excuse me, with George Johnson and Harvey Catchings in the game, you have 2 pretty good defensive centers.
Bryan step out, good defense right there as he switched up to help out on Banks. Back to Bratz, inside Mitchell. There's that hook. He's tough with it, John. They cannot allow him that hook coming off there. Someone's got to come from the weak side to help.
Well, what happened? Harvey is playing the forward Mitchell, and that, of course, puts Pat Cummings over on the center. Johnson, and we see the foul inside. We'll come back to that. But Harvey that time left Mitchell to come over and give help. By the time he got back, Mitchell was into the move.
So Lanier is going to get a call. Bridgman will be at the line. We'll see it again and send it away and let you know that with 6:45 to play here in the half, it's San Antonio 51 and the Bucks 46. From Sheboygan, hi, Mom. Gordy Loomer, family of Madison, moved to San Antonio, still a very loyal Bucks fan. All his friends in Green Bay. Mark Russell, Oshkosh, and Texas Lutheran College. And Jeff and Ann Kusterman, who are from Milwaukee, along with Kurt Weber, who's a student at St. Mary's University. Came from Thomas More and Jeff Morova. We need more of those kind of free throws. Johnny Mac?
How come so many of those Wisconsin people are down here in the Sun Belt? Every time we come down, San Antonio, Phoenix, San Diego, we get swamped.
You're not going to ask me that question, are you?
No, why?
In a long, cold winter, Don Nelson, except that the Bucks have tried to keep things pretty warm, and they've done a nice job.
Yes, they have.
51-48 score of the ball game. High-rise Lister will get a chance to come in here. Bob Lanier is back in with Harvey Catchings. He replaces Pat Cummings. On the miss, here comes Lanier with a rebound. Buckner in the backcourt. Foul, Roger Fegley. That'll be number 3 on the Spurs. Last year, they would have sent them to the line for 2. This year, you get a side back inbound until a penalty situation. Then you get 1 plus the penalty. There's Roger Fegley. He went to Bradley on a baseball scholarship, decided to play a little basketball, and basketball's become his career. He was a very fine baseball prospect.
A pretty versatile basketball player. He could play that forward or that guard position. He could shoot the ball well. That time, he didn't play the D too good.
Oh, good pick by Lister to free Bryan. He goes to the back door, and the ball knocked away in a Bratz foul. Well, Bratz had to fight underneath the pick that time to help out. Bryan went to the back door, trying to shoehorn it up there, and a foul call on the reach-in.
Bryan a lot of times will duck behind that screen as we see Gervin come back in. The game, Fegley will go out. Now Gervin will come over on Bryan Winters, but Bryan uses the screen very well. He ducks behind it when the defensive player tries to come over the top. Shoot it, Lanier.
They're going to leave him alone? No, that's not what you want to do. Lister wants the ball. He's going to get the ball. They're going to try and get him on the scoreboard, and George Johnson gets the foul. Well, they were obviously trying to get the ball to Lister to try and get him in the game right away. And Lanier will talk to Don Nelson about something now, as Alton Lister will go to the line, and Lister comes in a 51% free throw shooter.
You can see Alton draws a lot of attention inside, but that's a good way to get the big guy involved in the game, or at least the offensive part of the game. Get it to him deep so he can work inside rather than giving it to him a little further out facing the basket as he misses the first.
Lister not a good free throw shooter. If he makes one here, I think we all ought to raise a Miller beer. Be a good time right now. Pop the top and drink one for Lister.
Well,
drink one anyway.
Drink one anyway. What's he shooting on the year? He's shooting 51%. That was a whistle.
Not good. 51-48. Brotz blocked by high rise. Up into the hands of Lanier. He got a fast break flyaway. Brian with a running screen, and Junior with a flyaway jam. Brian Winters was running interference for Junior there as he screened two of the Spurs away from trying to catch him.
You came all the way up out of your seat on that one.
I like to do that every now and then.
And you just got to table height once you made it.
I'm a Ouija boy. 51-50 is the score of the ball game here. Spurs by 1. A foul on Brian Winters. And let's see, the Bucks now at 14 fouls. The Spurs are over the limit. Been there since the 6:09 mark. Banks on the back door. Oh, my goodness gracious. Someone's got to drop down and react. Oh, that was what you call an in-your-face facial.
How do you keep from hitting your head on the bottom of the glass on a move like that? That was really a beautiful play, and Mitchell can get up.
How do you keep from getting a nosebleed when you go that high? Now we got a 3-second call on Milwaukee. Bucks trying to break down a little bit. They trail it by 3, and the Spurs are playing very well.
You know, a lot of times that can happen when you make one extra pass, but if you're inside in the paint, you must get out.
Now Lister is really going to have himself a job here. He's got to get up on Mitchell. You can't allow him. He's got 18 points in the game. Mike Mitchell, Lanier, they lead by 5. That's their biggest lead in the game.
They got up on him on that last play before that one, and he jammed it. Oh, tough shot.
Can the man shoot? George Johnson in his face just picked up his 3rd foul, and Bob Lanier goes to the line and twists the neck. He's had problems with neck spasms. Lanier with 9, George Johnson with 3 fouls, and the big man, Dave Corzine, will put down his axe, take off his Mackinac, come back into the game, forget about sawing that log while we've got George Johnson going to the bench. Look at the size of that kid.
Yeah,
that one too.
And George Johnson, by the way, with those long arms and great timing, that's why he's such a shot blocker, is a difficult guy to get that shot off and in on, which Lanier did, and he misses the easier one without.
I'm telling you, free throw shooting is going to be a factor in the game, John. Before it's all over with, Brotz will go to the line. The Bucks on the foul. Brotz dished it off and then got fouled on the way through. Moncrief will come in now. Junior Bridgman gets his 2nd, and the Bucks are now over the limit.
Here we'll see Brotz bring it up the floor quickly. He's a pretty good player in regard to pushing it fast, going right or left, trying to make the play, and yet shooting it outside. Therefore, he has to be respected, because if you come up on him, he can go by you. If you fall off, he can nail it. Well,
the Bucks have replaced Quinn Buckner with Sidney Moncrief.
Right.
And Bridgman, so they've got Junior at a small forward position. And they've got Mike Brotz, who is like the all-time leading free throw shooter from Stanford at the line. He was an 82%er through his college career, and he is a good one, and he makes a pair. Mike Brotz, this year he's an 80%er. Didn't get a lot to shoot from the floor, only 41% from the floor. As we told you, not a great field goal percentage shooter. Moncrief, trying to get him one-on-one on Brotz. He'll light him up. Brian on the cut through, has to shoot it, expose the ball, and still hit the shot. I don't know how he does it. He takes it in with the right hand, the man trailing him defensively, and he still shoots it over.
Well, Brian's so tough going left or right. I think he might shoot it even a little bit better going left, and the way he releases the ball, it's so tough to get to.
That's the man they've got to shut down right now. Mitchell makes a bad pass, trying to shoehorn it up the baseline, and Brian right there to receive 3-pointer off the iron. Lanier trying to take it away from Banks, knocks it away. Lister, he rifles it past Moncrief, dances out of the lane, gives it to Junior on the miss, kept alive by Lister, and Lister again. Ball hot potato. Who's got it? Alton Lister on the dive. Bridgman, he's got a man on the right. He puts it in himself. Ooh,
wow.
Like that. Some good basketball.
Eddie, good play by Lister. He's the guy that kept it alive. Alton Lister a couple of times is the guy that went on the floor then to finally come up with it and get an eventual 2.
And it's Junior with a 12-point night going off the bench. They need to get him. Here's Gene Banks. Mitchell over Bob Lanier, and he put it in. Mitchell is a fine offensive scoring machine, as we told you. 6'8", 215, 4-year man from Auburn.
Eddie, I think he plays bigger than 6'8" also. He can take it in just like that on bigger people, shoot it right in your face, and it's a difficult shot to get to.
You've got to get to him defensively, though. Here's your lob. Bridgman, tough pass inside. Moncrief, back to Bryan. Hello, Josephine.
Bango! And as he's shooting it nicely, as we look at Stanley Auerbach, coach of the Spurs.
He's going to buy tonight, too.
Yeah, we're going to get it.
59-58. Here comes Banks. Lanier with a good switch that time, but not enough to stop the 6'8" flyer from Duke University. Remember when they made the finals in the NC2As? Bridgman actively going to the hoop. Maybe would have been good had it gone. He was fouled on the play. Junior going to the basket a lot the last couple of games.
The junior's good on that open floor, Eddie, and we've seen him do this many times. And with his good jump shooting ability, as you look at it again, you have to come up and play him because he can take it. But look at him here. He gets that right step. And, of course, if you've really listened to the game plan on him, he can go left also, but that's the way you want to push him. Banks let him go right. Junior draws the foul very, very well.
Bucks have led by 4, trailed by as many as 5. And Bridgman at the stripe. Gene Banks, we've talked a little bit about. He was a second-round draft choice, the 28th player picked. Ended up being a good one because I think, as John said, he's going to be a fine player before it's over. Junior with 13. Banks, incidentally, is 22 years old. Remember that name.
Sometimes it ends too early.
Well,
what do you think, John? I don't know.
Guys look like they're waiting for a bus. 61-60. Junior with a steal. Challenged by Banks. Bango. Oh.
I think he double dribbled.
So do a few of the people on the baseline down here.
I couldn't tell from this angle. I think as he flipped it out in front of him, he caught it with 2 hands and flipped it out again. But that's okay, JB. I'm for it.
Junior Bridgman with 16. His high game is 26. And now we've got a foul. If you're out there having a few laughs, watching the ball game, have a Miller beer on us, okay? Remind you again, the March issue of the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Report is in the stand. That's a good one. And we'd like to have you get out and enjoy the feature with Scott May and an interesting interview. Pro Report. Incidentally, Scott May will not play tonight, John. That hamstring pull. He was out working out a little bit before the game. Said it was all right, but I doubt that they'll use him unless they really feel as if they need to go to him. Okay, the Bucks now with Lanier, excuse me, Johnny Mac, Lister, Moncrief, Bridgman, and Marcus Johnson in the game.
Eddie, a couple things. One, Scott May was moving pretty well prior to the game on that as he tried to play a little cautious one-on-one. When you pop a hamstring, it can take some time. Sprots rolls that one around. So hopefully he will not be out too long. And you think the shooting percentage is pretty good in this particular half. We have the Spurs at this point shooting 64%, the Bucks right at 60.
Bratz with a pair. That doesn't hurt their chances. Artis Gilmore, Reggie Theus, Rod Thorne, the Chicago Bulls will be in the arena on Wednesday night. Tickets are available, all prices for the Bucks and the Bulls.
I'll be there.
Bob Lanier, I won't.
Where will you be?
I'd like to be there. I'm going to see my family for the first time in 9 days. 64-63, can I? Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I'll let you know after the game.
2:17. We've got a foul. No, we don't. What do we have here?
No, something on the floor. They blew the whistle.
You know, John, I just mentioned Chicago, and there are a lot of rumors circulating as to what they're going to do as far as a coach is concerned. And you know, and I know that Rod Thorne and Kevin Lockery are best of friends. And there's a lot of talk around about Lockery maybe going to Chicago. And he would have only been in Atlanta 1 year. There's Bratz. Rebound, Corzine, taken away by Bob Lanier. Stay away from my buddy's knees over there, you guys. There's Marcus Johnson to Moncrief. Up to Lister, coming right this way.
Well, there's a situation where Moncrief made the nice pass. Lister, he didn't expect it to come.
64-63. Just got my hand on the ball, John. That thing's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It is.
I'm surprised that more of those guys don't break fingers. There's Gene Banks trying to get to Corzine. He's got it. Good shooter.
Good position that time as he established, after the screen, he established the down deep position. Lanier had to stay behind him because he didn't know if there was going to be a pop out after the screen.
He averages about 10 a game. Here's Lanier. That baby would have been good had it gone. Lanier was going to say, hey, look, you scored on me. I'm going to show you can't do that with the way you want to every time. So he tried to take it right back to him.
Well, on one of the books here, everyone has a book on him, by the way. Even I had a book on me. It was very thin, but a book on me too. And the one on Lanier is don't let him drive left. Force him back right. He'll go right on you, but he'll pull up for the jumper. If you let him go left, he'll take it all the way. Corzine didn't read the book.
It's a very short book. Your book, I mean.
Well, my book's real thin because they didn't have that many weaknesses.
So you got one page and it's blank. 65-65.
No weaknesses, right?
Well, bestseller.
Okay.
1:37 to play. 65-65. Free throw shooting 11 for 19. Milwaukee Spurs 13 for 13. And as I said twice already, it could be a difference before it's all over. Moncrief 2-on-1. Give it to Bridgman. Bridgman down, has to do the 180. He got it.
Oh, tough.
Junior's having a game. Moncrief with a pass that was just a little bit behind Junior.
Tough pass to handle, but Junior handled it well.
18 first half points for Junior Bridgman. He's played very well.
Junior, I thought that foot hurt.
It hurts me. Inside Gervin. He's been quiet. Backing down now. Look at them double up. Lister, good defense here. Banks back to Mitchell. How about a 3-second call?
How about
yes, sir.
6?
There it is.
I'll take 6.
What do we have in here?
That's an example of the defense playing well enough at force and stances. Oh, my goodness. It forced them to make 1 or 2 extra passes, therefore the turnover.
10 points for Gervin. Sitting on a big ice glacier right now. The thing that you got to worry about him is when is he going to warm? When is he going to get off that thing? When is that ice going to crack?
That's right. The Bucks up by 2, and Gervin has been very silent the first half.
6'7", 6'5". 2 cutters on the way through, trying to get it to Lister. He was backing down instead of coming back to the ball. Here's Banks. Oh, watch it. Falls down.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, he's hurt. He's down the other end. Moncrief to Marcus. Junior Bridgman looking for 20. Has it. Gene Banks. He's up now. And hobbling a little bit on that ankle.
Eddie, it looked like to me that Bob Lanier really did just try to take the foul. What happened is the official, let's look at it again. Now watch. No, he didn't. He got away from him. He may have been hit from behind. Can we see it again? He may have. Could you see if Sidney fouled him? I thought Bob Lanier fouled him. He did not. But what happened? The official turned his back to the play to try to see where he was going just as Banks went to the floor. Now watch. No contact there.
And no one fouled him.
No, he was not fouled.
He did not get. No one got charged for the foul either.
Oh.
And Banks just ends up on the floor. Well, too bad. Evidently, he's all right now. He's going to be replaced in the game, however. They've got Fegley coming back in. You can see, John, how they miss a Mark Olberding, that big, strong power forward who, number-wise, is 6'9", 230.
Oh, he's absolutely a stabilizing force inside, Eddie. He's really having a fine year for them, shooting 48% from the field, 81 from the line. He's averaging 14.5 points a game, and he's just a force inside defensively for them. So they need him in the game.
You see the way they try to overplay Bratch to his left. He's back with the right hand now. Now Moncrief and Quinn chasing the ball. You can double on the ball. Back to Bratch. He's a three-point shooter. In and out. Hoop didn't want it. Ball fought for. Who's got it? Here comes Quinn Buckner. Down to 2 seconds. He's got to get a shot away. Junior pulls up on the run. Oh, he hit it, but it won't count.
The Spurs 61.
Bucks 11 and 19 at the line. That's 58%. San Antonio 12 of 13. That's 92%. Gervin, they're going to try and get him in it, as you said, Johnny Mac. That's the guy. They're banging the offensive boards. Mike Mitchell and a foul on Marcus Johnson. They have Corzine, Mitchell, and Lambert. So they start out 6'11", 6'10", 6'8 on the front line. They've got Gervin 6'8 of the guard with Johnny Moore 6'3. The Bucks will start with Quinn Buckner and Sidney Moncrief at the guards. Marcus Johnson 6'7", Mickey Johnson 6'9.5", and Bob Lanier 6'10.5". Those will be the frontline members for the Milwaukee Bucks. There he is, Mike Mitchell.
He's a tough guy to keep out from in front of the basket in the post-up position because he moves off the ball to position to the ball. Therefore, it's difficult to play him away from it and keep him away from it.
You like rumors?
Sure.
The rumor in New York is Dave Gavitt to coach. Gavitt, of course, from Providence. Dave DeBusschere to general manage. That's the rumor out of New York. 69-67. Marcus Johnson with the ball. Big Bob Lanier on the lob, tries to go to the back door. He had to go way out to get the pass. Hair special Moncrief knocked away off the hands of Moncrief, and it'll go back to San Antonio. So the Spurs, who average close to 113 a game. The Bucks, who are right around 107 a game. The Spurs give it up at 109. Milwaukee 101.2, number 3 in the NBA defense. All right, Gervin, 19,000 career points. They've done a job on him so far. Moore. Sweet spot. Slingshot. Buckner with a trailer. Mickey right there. He saw it coming all the way. Teamwork to break the ice at the other end.
And that's how the Bucks were released. Buckner came out on Moore, continued on down the floor. That makes it tough for Moore, and the double team forces the turnover.
Boy, I'll tell you what, they are all over George Gervin so far. They double him up on the baseline, and they're trying to force the ball to go to Gervin, and Gervin trying to force the ball inside, is being handled by a good double-team defense so far.
We might expect to see him get the ball, maybe, Eddie, out at the top of the circle and start working there rather than on the base.
Buckner, Marcus pops out, Lambert 6'10" on him. Tries to look to the man flashing back door. That's Moncrief. Lanier coming from the other direction. Shot clock down. The shot clock is out, as a matter of fact. We do not have a shot clock, so I can't tell you what's going on. Up, they have it on the floor. They used to have it up over the baskets. That's where it's supposed to be, but it must be out of order.
Right. So they've come back with the floor jobbies, and the Bucks had a problem seeing it earlier in the first half. That time there was 3 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
Johnny Moore with his second foul. Sid Moncrief at the line. Free throw shooting has not been there all night, and now Moncrief will come back and put the Bucks at 12 of 20 at the line. Not good. And he makes 2, and it's Milwaukee 73, San Antonio 69. Roland and Cheryl what is it? Wozniak. Well, it's W-A-W. It's an alphabet full. Wozniak, I think it is. They say hi. Corzine. And he answers with a hello. 73-71. Buckner, Moncrief, Gervin plays in. Marcus gives him a high pick. Can't go that way. Moncrief fires an air special. Saved by Mickey Johnson. Way out on top, and it'll be a turnover against the Bucks. So the Bucks have committed their 5th turnover of the ball game. Turnover is relatively low here. In fact, very low. Very, very low.
Yes. Moncrief, by the way, very upset. He even went after the official to talk to him about, hey, he hit my arm. I don't normally shoot quite that badly.
There's Gervin, played by Moncrief, and Buckner does a tremendous job of spinning in between them and laying it in. And obviously they're trying to get him into the flow. There's Moncrief, back door, underneath on Corzine. Deflected, but Marcus comes away with it. Turn in hook, and Lambert with a rebound. Trying to deny the inside activity. A score here would tie it. And Gervin, and an offensive foul on Gervin as Mickey Johnson took the charge.
Has to be called. And Gervin that time committed himself, got caught up in the air. Mickey was right in front of him for the good defense. Gervin having some problems getting loose. Gervin laughing about it as he's going down the floor. But look at this. And the Bucks again there with the double team.
Good call. A very good call. 73-73. Quinn Buckner. They double him up. Back out to Lanier. A lot of double team defense. Bob hangs in the air. He does that stop and that 360, John, and that's a tough shot to stop because he is so big, and then he fades away. It makes it even tougher.
Well, it's amazing, Eddie. He gets all the defense leaning away from him, then he comes all the way back, and here's another turnover, and it's Gervin again causing it.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you, the Bucks defense all over Gervin, and Mickey Johnson looking for the trailer on the play, and a foul called against San Antonio. Quinn Buckner hobbled with that thigh pull, as you can see. And we'll have an opportunity to watch this pass.
All right, this was after the double team, and Gervin's really been responsible for about 3 turnovers as the foul. Oh, it goes side court on that, Eddie, but it was again Gervin just throwing it away because of the double team.
Mitchell on the last foul. Lanier, he's got 2 hoops in a row. So Big Bob Lanier now with 16. The Blinkers up in Marquette in the Upper Peninsula. Want to be remembered from some friends that are here at the game tonight. 77-73. Gervin. Double him up again. They're trying to stop that big guy. Now they go to Corzine. Lanier puts an arm on him. Corzine with that rainbow. And look at the rebound by Marcus Johnson. Outlet to Quinn. Lanier on the left wing. Quinn sees him. Gives it up to Mickey, trailing Bob. Go to Moncrief. Down to Mickey. Tries to go to the back door. And no key. Door is closed. Though he throws it through a window. And he'll get it back through the door. All right, we're going to have a timeout before we continue. And we'll see what
I think it's 20, Eddie.
Is it 20?
I thought it was. I thought Bob Lanier was having some problem there with a contact lens.
That's what it is. It's a 20. We will keep it right here.
Okay, one point I wanted to make just briefly, Eddie. Moncrief passed the ball that last time into Mickey, as you indicated. That's a shot about 18 feet out, 17 feet out.
Half over Houston, who was defeated by the Boston Celtics last night. The Boston Celtics. 12 seconds on the shot clock and the ball out of bounds. The Bucks will get it back. Down to 10 seconds now on the shot clock. Denver playing good ball also. Denver 30-29 over 500, 7.5 out in the Midwest Division. We'll tell you more about the standings later.
Celtics, by the way, are supposed to be losing on this West Coast road trip because they have so many injuries. They aren't.
Marcus penetrating, drawing the D, dishing it over to Quinn. Great passing, 79-73. Biggest Bucks lead of the night.
And that's an excellent example of what penetration will do. It makes defense adjust.
Gervin, you see how quick he is? And you see the defense going over, and he still made it. Had 3 men on him. He shot it over the right shoulder like a shot put and behind it. How he made it, I'll never know. Mickey Johnson. Gervin has got over 19,000 career points. Mickey Johnson comes back with a couple himself. And it's 81-75. Junior Moore. Gervin. Mickey Johnson steps in, takes the ball away.
Wow.
Pretty good double team defense. And the official that made the call, Terry Bull Durham, was definitely screened out on the play. Maybe if we get a look at it on a replay, we can see a foul. I did not see it initially. He may have had a better look.
I'll tell you, Eddie, at this point, the Bucks have been absolutely beautiful at their double team on Gervin. They've timed it just right.
Moore, we don't have a replay. Good. Foul. He'll go to the line. 3-point possibility, 81-77.
Fine play by Johnny Moore, taking it back inside. He saw just enough of an opening, and he threw it up a little quickly, knowing he had to as Lanier came out on him.
Johnny Moore, Texas, fine player at that school. And Moore, who came here, he's really done a nice job. And as I said earlier, the reason why James Silas is suddenly sitting over in Cleveland. Moore, 6'3", 175. He was the last cut here in 79, sat out, and then re-signed in 1980. So he stuck with it, young people. They run a high post split. Moncrief on a double screen. That's the old Celtics play. They used to run that baby for Havlicek, and it's 83-78.
And Moncrief taking the shot I talked about. I like to see him take that one, and the Bucks not afraid to give it to him. Obviously, that double screen was for him. And you're right, they can run a back screen on that also. He can go back door or over the top, and look at that, little Gervin. Nothing big, just flip it in and get 2 more.
He just steam shovels it up there. Drop lead feed Lanier for Marcus. Corzine out of. Marcus got a one-on-one post up on Lambert. I like his chances there, and he comes up with nothing. Johnny Moore has Lambert on the right wing. Gervin on the left wing. Goes to Lambert. 83-82, 6-point lead to 1. And the Spurs are hanging right in there. Good road team, or I should say good home team. They're 23-7 here at the Hemisphere. It's better than the Bucks' home record of 22-7. But Milwaukee, the best road record in the NBA at 20-9. Here's Bob Lanier. Double, triple team. Got it! Sweet spot, 2.
He has the moves. The big guy, once again, taking it to his left, gets the defense leaning away, and he does that 360, Eddie. He's open.
He's got 18 for the game. Bridgman on the bench with 20. He's coming off the bench right now. Lambert. That's a little out of his range. That's the shot you'd like to see him take. Dumps it off to Mitchell. Offensive foul on John Lambert. And the rubber band man has caught another one in the head. Well, his head...
Backgrounds, and
it's a fun place.
One thing, they come together for loudness.
Yeah. Buckner on the high pick by Lanier. No pick and roll. Bango in the net. No need for a pick and roll. And he had some string music that time. 87-82 by 5. Quinn Buckner now with 8.
Harvey in the game playing Mike Mitchell at that forward position defensively.
Harvey leaning on Mitchell. Mitchell says, give me the ball off my right hand. Corzine all by himself. He popped up from the weak side. See, now they execute their plays so much better than they did a couple of years ago. It's incredible. They didn't have plays to speak of. And Allbeck is a real stickler. Moncrief goes up and a foul by Gervin. Moncrief 6'4", foul by Gervin 6'8". The roadblock is coming in. Big Pat Cummings is coming in the ball game.
Look how quick Moncrief is on the spin. He just spins right around Gervin. Gervin, you know, he gets a little lackadaisical at times defensively. Figures, hey, I'll let you squirt this in and I'll get more at the other end. But Moncrief spinning inside drew the foul as we look at Pat.
Bob Lanier comes out of the ball game. Pat Cummings will come in for him. They'll use Harvey Catchings at that power forward. Use Pat at a high post. They've got Junior Bridgman in the game with his 20.
And Pat will play Corzine defensively, which Corzine is the center. He normally will set up high post. Very seldom will he post up, although now and then he might.
Lanier watching from the bench now is Moncrief with 11 points. 89-84 by 5. The green line. Mitchell calling. Corzine wants the ball. Cummings steps up on the switch. Played him real good there. To Moore. Shot clock running down. And with 4 seconds left, it was hit by John Lambert. Buckner to Cummings to Moncrief. Good drive, takes it right into the crowd, but an in and out here. And Gervin spins loose. They come back trailing by 3. Chance to draw to within 1. Moore with a rebound. Moncrief fighting him for it. And Johnny Moore played now by Quinn Buckner. Gervin gives him a pick. Not much of a pick. Gervin's one of those guys that is number. All by himself. All by himself. And nobody helped out on Gervin.
That's right. There was a back screen. Gervin went around it on the double screen on the base. They just lob it up. The bottom man on that, Eddie, must come up and play Gervin, or at least he can see the pass coming, or should see it coming if he sees the floor.
Moncrief trying to go to the back door. Gervin has 18 points. Here they come. They can go ahead right here. Gervin. They do. And the Bucks will call for timeout. Timeout. With 4:06 to play in the third. Call me Stormy Monday.
Johnny. But at first, they didn't know if he could really fill those shoes. It looks like he's been doing a pretty fair job as Buckner will get the reaching foul.
And Johnny Moore came down. He was shaking the old hips, moving the legs, giving Quinn as much action as he could, body movement, to try and draw him into the foul, and he got it. And now that's 14 fouls in the Bucks with 3:47 to play. They are at 3 team fouls.
You know, actually, Eddie, earlier in the year, Mitchell goes in where he's tough. Earlier in the year, they were looking for another guard. They didn't think Johnny Moore could really do the job, even though they gave Gale up in the trade.
Here's the guy that's been scoring, Junior Bridgman, and fouled on the play on the way to the baseline. They're going to try and check Junior, but actually Junior trying to get it to Brian coming from the weak side. With a little bit of a break here in the action, you can break into the icebox and grab yourself another Cole Miller High Life. It's the best. Miller time. Quinn Buckner. Bridgman. Bryant with Cummings on the post-up. There he is on Mitchell. Mitchell forced him out, and he still hit the hook. Cummings can shoot the basketball. He may not look like the most graceful. I mean, he's not going to confuse you with a sprint champion, but he can shoot the ball. Gervin.
Okay, Eddie, there's where I was talking about. Oh, no. That's a great
that
move.
Can you believe that?
That's a great move, but that's what I'm talking about. If they give him the ball at the top of the circle, he can see the defense better. As Junior with a great move inside, Lambert cannot guard him.
Got a lot of great moves tonight. Junior with 22 points in the ball game, or I should say Gervin with 22. And remember when he came out at halftime, just as we'd said, we knew he was going to come back at him. He had 10 points at halftime. So 12 in the third period. There's Tinkerbell Banks coming in.
And look at Junior Bridgman putting the fake on Lambert as he comes up the floor, faking left, going right, taking it all the way to the hoop. And I think we might see Gervin set up under the basket. He will get a screen under the basket, then come to the free throw line, get the ball there. Then he can see the defense in front of him a little bit better. It's more difficult to double team there than on the baseline in most situations.
92. Bucks in a tie. Banks back in. Banks with a BA in history from Duke. Got a pretty good education there. He's got a minor in Hebrew.
Education
that pays. 93-92.
I'll let you into that nicely, huh?
2:45 to play here in the third. Knocked away, but Brian Winters as he cleaned and pressed him, and Gervin knocks it back into the hands of Cummings to Quinn. He gets in the middle, looks right, and then left, and goes right. Brian, no travel. Cummings. Bucks got a break. Crowd thought there was a travel. Looked like it might have been, but Brian actually, I think, perhaps rocked up on the toes and never left the floor. And that doesn't count.
And these fans come right up out of their chairs. And here in Phoenix are 2 of the places I would not want to be an official if it was going against their club.
Moore, they sag back, try and give help on Gervin. They leave Moore alone, and he hits the outside shot. So they're sinking back in on the guard. Bryant trying to pick up the tempo of the game. Buckner shoots over the top. Bango! Hit a man flying out of his shooting arm, and he still hit it. And Quinn Buckner now has had a night with 10 points.
Part of the Bucks' game plan is to pack it back in off Moore. Let him try to make that one outside because he's a penetrator.
Corzine, not a bad shooter, deep along the baseline. Buckner tries to avoid his own teammate. He's in the middle again. Teammates left and right. Quinn, free throw line, Jay. Hey! Boy, when he came into the league, John, he couldn't make that shot. He has really become a fine player.
I don't remember that.
You do too.
No, that's long gone.
That's
when
long
Buckner
gone.
shoots it.
He can shoot.
And for you people out there that didn't believe it, believe it.
Look at Gervin getting overplayed by Brian Winters. Quinn Buckner, incidentally, coming into the game. 49% field goal shooting.
I knew what you were looking for.
You were looking for it too, weren't you?
Foul on Brian Winters. He can't believe it.
Bucks 1-0 against the Spurs in 1981-82. They won 2 in a row against the San Antonio team overall. Only see them twice during the season because they're in a different conference. I don't know that I totally agree with that. Then again, a lot of things that perhaps the league could redo. You'd like to get a few more trips to the West Coast, wouldn't you?
You want to go to Cleveland and Detroit and Philly and all those places 3 times rather than going to where it's a little warmer?
99, 96.
Let's be logical here.
Bridgman pops out. There's Gene Banks on him. He's 6'8", Junior 6'5". Junior to the hoop. He's got a pair and a foul called.
Nope, no continuation. I think the foul was too far out. I don't think he should get continuation on that.
All right, rub it out. Banks gets his second foul.
Although I'd like to see you get it, Junior. But here, look at it again. The foul was called when he put his hand on him out high, and that was too far out to really allow continuation. On the other hand, they put him on the line.
That's a chintzy foul.
We were over. That's right.
That's a chintzy foul, though. I mean, they could have let that baby go.
That's part of the hand-touching rule. But the problem is, it's called part of the time.
You know, see, that's one of the things that I don't agree with right there. And I know that perhaps some people are going to say, well, maybe I shouldn't say anything. But, you know, you can tap the guy, give him a little love tap like that, get a foul, and at the other end you can whack a guy and not get called at all.
Well, I think it depends a lot of times where it happens, too. Under the basket, you get away with that. Out on the floor, they have more of a tendency to call it.
101-96. Well, on the open floor, even I can see it. If they come. Midway between the circle and the sideline. Gene Banks double team. They jump switch back out. Moore. Mitchell wants the ball. They're not getting the ball to Mitchell. And there's the lean in by the main man. Gerb. Double up. Buckner right on top of the ball. Jump ball. How about it? Who's going to be there? Harvey Catchings. And look at Banks immediately go to find his spot. They've got little set spots they go to. It'll be Gerving and Quinn, I believe, jumping.
By the way, Cummings jumped into his spot also. He wanted to control that spot right in front of the basket.
Roadblock and Corzine, and the tap goes to Bridgman to Bryant. 3-on-2. The Bucks have a breakaway. Bryant on the pull-up. Nice pass. Junior puts it up. No, didn't get it.
Too bad.
Now he looked for it.
Good play.
Yes, it was. 101-96. Can't fault him on that. Here's Mitchell. Tough. A nice little inside move by Mike Mitchell. Mitchell, 6'8", 215. Auburn first-round draft choice and the 15th player picked a few years ago in a technical foul.
No. Delay of game warning. After the ball went in, one of the Spurs knocked it out of bounds.
101-98. Bryant, tough shot over a man's arm. He had a man right on him and he shot and hit.
Now, the reason Bryant did that, the Bucks wanted to get a quick shot so that they'll have an opportunity to get another shot up before the end of the period.
14 points for Brian Winters. Quick draw Winters, and he is out there firing them up tonight. 103-98. Down to 14 seconds here in the period. There's that machine gun dribble by Moore. Gets the high pick from Corzine. Harvey's got to step out and help. By Harvey. And on the follow, Corzine. He's going to get that last shot. They did not stay with it, and a foul by Pat Cummings. That is a key mistake right there. That's a three-point play possibility coming up here. The Bucks might have had themselves a chance to close out the period by 5 points.
Okay, it's a set play. You see Moore with the penetration after the screen. Corzine getting inside because Harvey had to switch away that time to give help. That left Corzine in good position. Pat tries to take the foul, but he didn't take it quite aggressively enough, and it left the big, strong Corzine, and that's a big guy, to get it back.
3 seconds. They're going to get one shot left, maybe. No. Bucks caught a little break there. So the Spurs with a chance to slice like a little gallery, a Bucks gallery in your room, all you young folks. Love to have you come out. That's Friday, March 19th, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ned's Catchings Jr. on the front line. George Johnson is in the game. He's their intimidator, the shot blocker. Back to Bryant. Stepping out on him is George Johnson. There's a mismatch inside. There it is. Harvey Catchings on Gervin. And on the rebound, ball fought for, knocked out of bounds by Harvey Catchings. Moncrief will come into the game as soon as possible. Bucks try to create a mismatch. They got it, and Mike Bratz will start it out on the side back with Gervin. So Bratz at 6'3", Gervin at 6'8". Gene Banks at 6'8", George Johnson at 6'11", and Mike Mitchell at 6'8".
And it's interesting, the Bucks now have Catchings playing George Johnson, not Mitchell. We have Pat Cummings on Mitchell.
And on a busted play, Bratz gets it back, goes to the back door, shovels it in the crowd. Oh, boy. George Johnson, who they say does not have very good hands, caught one right in the breadbasket that time and had to catch it to survive. And he has a chance to tie it right here.
Okay, this is a beautiful play by Bratz. He takes the ball to the basket with a vengeance, and George Johnson, apparently reading it well, knowing that the penetration is there, he comes to the basket with a real force. The play was made. Had George Johnson not been there, Bratz might have been in trouble.
You don't see George Johnson shoot free throws very often, but if you noticed, he did something a little unusual.
There's the press.
Shoots him underhanded.
Rick Barry caught it.
Rick Barry was the last one. That's right. The pressure, screen Harvey Jr. He's been hot. Not this time. Tip. Bucks miss. 2 opportunities. And now the Spurs with a chance to go ahead. Bratz. Lanier is going to get a call. Bratz inside. There's Mitchell again. Weak side help. Well done. Follow-up tap once, twice. Tipped in. Cummings may have tipped that ball in. Johnson will get credit for the 2. 105-103. Bucks have led by as many as 6. Trailed by as many as 5. Been one of those yo-yo tight games all night and a good ball game. Hope you've enjoyed. Catchings to Junior. That's a goal, Tim.
Yep. You know, now that shot might have had a difficult time going in, and that's when George really has to read it a little bit better. But Junior, very smartly, Eddie, they're looking for that play. He pops out on the screen on the left side. He's been taking the jumper. That time he curled right around the screen and came right back into the hoop.
They allow Gervin to go and set up where he wants to and let Bratz bring the ball up. They post up Gervin on the right side. Bratz goes left. There's Mitchell. Looks for the pick and roll, and they let him go, and he hits it. Well, that was a smart move. Bratz has not really opted to go to the basket much at all tonight, and they just let him go by, figuring he wouldn't shoot. Bryant, the Bucks trailing by 2. No time to get cold, Bryant, and he allows the Bucks an opportunity to come right back and tie.
My goodness, that time when he started to turn and leave the floor, Eddie, he was still facing down court, but he was able to square himself up and still put it in.
About 12,000 on hand tonight to see the Bucks and the Spurs battle in a real good one. Bratz, Banks on the right. Gervin goes down. Moncrief stays with him. They have a double screen on the left side. Banks with it. Tough shot. No. Mitchell fights. Bucks had inside position, and it's Moncrief who comes away. Moncrief, Bryant ahead on the right side. Tries to find him. Pulls up with it. Goes to Brisbane. Picked by Harvey. Cummings is set up in the corner. They rotate it on top to Bryant. Going to run a fist play. Atlanta leads New Jersey after 386-72. New Jersey's been playing extremely fine basketball. Come around, Junior. He's deep. Looks good. Wasn't there. Gervin with a rebound. Washington leads Utah after 1. 34-26. In Detroit over New York. 89-75 after 3.
Now,
those are the only scores we have.
Something the Bucks want to think about at this point. We're seeing the Spurs really concentrate on going to the offensive boards on the missed shot. Try to keep them from getting the ball back as much as you can.
Mitchell. Banks underneath. Mitchell and no help, and the Spurs by 2 and a timeout call. And Don. From late third period to now, the Bucks have been simply beat up on the night. The Spurs 63% in the third, the Bucks at 62%. And we have had that kind of a basketball game. Bucks did not turn the ball over, they say, in the third. I had him for 1. Brian Winters. Mickey Johnson. Marcus Johnson getting into the game now, out of forward position with Moncrief. Got Mickey Johnson and Bob Lanier. Brian Winters. Tough shot, and he hit it. Over Mike Bratz. Tough shot.
He was also hit on the arms as he went up, and many times we'll see Moncrief get hit on the arm, and he's strong enough in the upper body, Eddie, he can stay right with the shot. Now we have Fagley in the game. He's guarding Brian Winters. He's probably, since he's quite a bit taller, he's in there to try to shut Brian down a bit.
Nobody shut that man down tonight, Mike Mitchell. And we told you at the outset of the telecast tonight he would have to be a guy to watch. And a foul called on who?
Mickey Johnson. Now we'll see the clear out here. Mitchell will get the ball. He's got a quick step. Look at this. He can turn and face the hoop, but he's got so much confidence in taking it to the basket. We saw the clear out, nothing baseline. Mickey tries to stay in front of it.
I like that trade. Reggie Johnson and Ron Brewer going from San Antonio to Cleveland with Fagley and this man, Mike Mitchell, coming down here. I like it a lot because this guy Mitchell gives him a forward that can shoot to put opposite of Olberding, and when Olberding is in there, they've got a very nice front forward combination.
Well, and don't forget Banks coming along. A guy like Paul Griffin is not a great player, but he fulfills a role here. They have a pretty good front line because of their forwards.
They've got to get some better rebounding for the Bucks in this fourth period. Brian Winters down to Bob Lanier. Picked him clean that time as he was cleaned and pressed by Fagley. Sagging back in on Lanier. Bratz to Mitchell. He can open it to 4 and does. And the Bucks have got to get it going right now. Man, getting a little nervous in here, so that means it's time to reach for another Miller. Cool down. Calm the nerves. Miller time. Brian Winters.
That's one of the few times, by the way, we've seen them dump back in and really out and out double team on Lanier.
Moncrief has to go low with it. Fegley reaching in. You see the way they're sagging back to the ball. Buck's doing it at their end defensively also. These teams concentrating. And what really upsets you a lot as you see high-rise Lister come in. He replaces Mickey Johnson. Is when people say they don't play a lot of defense in the NBA. All right, we're back to the live action now. Mickey Johnson out. Marcus Johnson handling as Brian Winters has got it. And the shot clock down to 17 seconds. Lanier. Moncrief. Lanier wanted to go to him. There's your pivot screen. Rubs off Bratz. Moncrief in the lane. Pick and roll. Big Bob with a pump fake. Block shot by George Johnson. 2-on-2. Cleaned and pressed by Brian. Picked up by Mitchell. He's tough. Mitchell has been the man tonight. He has 32 points. And suddenly the Spurs with their biggest lead of the ball game with 7:19 to play. 6:21 to play. Bratz. Mitchell. Lanier. Played on by George Johnson. Come on, Bob. Got to get the lid off and does. Back to within one. And 5 straight points by the Bucks.
I recommend it.
Some of the fans behind the Bucks bench are giving the team a little bit of a static and or a little bit of static, and one of the officials here just went over there. Our history. 115 to 114. Here's Bratz. Bratz on the baseline on the backdoor drive.
That's the third time his presence has been felt going baseline. 2 he scored, 1 he got the assist.
Okay. I want to remind you that we may have made a mistake there. March 21 for that Nets day. March 21, not the 14th.
I'll be there both. I'll
get said that we were erroneous in that. There's the save by Lister. They lead by 3. They could balloon again. Here's Fegley. He's a shooter. And block and foul. As Alton Lister comes over there and nails him, and he gets the foul. Well, Lister came right back there and challenged Fegley, who's a very fine shooter. Here's a guy you do not want to put at the free throw line.
Actually, Eddie, now we'll see it again. I thought Fegley really was in the position here to take a very forced shot. As you look at it again, I couldn't tell if he was hit on the arm. Doesn't matter. The official says he was. Puts him on the line. Fegley, as you've indicated, is a fine shooter.
85% career.
But this year from the line, he's shooting 76.
And he's got one of the 2, and they lead by 4. We're down to 5:15. 118-114. This is it. Bucks have got to score on each of these trips down the floor now. Time is running out. It's been a close game all night. Marcus back picks for Lanier, then goes out on top to get it. Oh, tough pass. That's a tough pass to pull off. George Johnson all the way over the back of Lanier gets the foul. And now for the Spurs, they have just picked up another team foul, and that is number 3 on them.
And he's in. Gervin back in.
Oh, boy. Yeah, you see how Stan substituted him, got him his rest, and here he is.
Fegley out in that situation. The Bucks trying to get the ball to Lanier inside after a back screen was set on the line for him.
There he is. Good pass by Junior Bridgman.
Beautiful
flashing across the lane. Nice pass, and Lanier with good hands for a big man banked it in. He's got 22.
And he also held George Johnson on his back. Did not allow him to come up and play the passing lane.
118-116. Banks. Banks looks to the back door. Cutter's nobody there. Bratz has to come over. There's your jump switch. Marcus is out on Bratz. Now you got a mismatch. And it's Banks on, what do we have? Alton Lister. And they'll get Mike Mitchell a foul. And the Spurs will side front the inbound. That is 4 on Milwaukee with 4:37 to play. And Banks will inbound the ball. Picking up the action here, folks. Milwaukee with 3 timeouts remaining. Nope, 2 timeouts remaining in San Antonio with 3. Those are some important numbers to keep in mind. Bratz, they want to get to Gervin. They flash him weak side. Banks to the back door. Sealed off. That was Lanier. Good move by Lanier and knocks the ball out of bounds. And back to San Antonio. Lanier dropped down. He sunk down deep that time and took the play away from Banks. There was no foul and then knocked the ball away.
Now it's quite obvious that the Spurs are looking for Mitchell or the Iceman, George Gervin. The Bucks have done an excellent job the last couple of times of shutting that down except for the foul. And therefore a guy like Banks or Bratz has then been taking it and looking for his shot as last resort.
Now look at Junior playing Bratz out high, trying to force him to go back to that right hand. Don't want to give him a left. He's a natural left-hander. There's your screen. Mitchell's been hot.
Now there's a situation he just pops out on the screen, and I think with Mickey and Marcus over there, they need to switch. It doesn't matter if they switch. The top man has to go out in the corner on Mitchell. Scott
May unavailable, pulled hamstring. By 4, Bridgman forcing it a little deep, and nobody there to get the rebound. 120 to 116. Their biggest lead has been 6. The Bucks likewise. It's been that kind of a game. Bratz, he's done a pretty good job. Olberding has not been available. Neither has Paul Griffin. 2 big forwards. That's Banks. Oh, boy. Had time. Ball knocked away. They've got it back. Mitchell can't stop him. Hangs in the lip of the rim. There's Mitchell again.
All right, Eddie. If you'll recall, about 7-8 minutes ago, I said, or more, about 9 minutes ago, I said one of the things the Bucks have to be very careful. Run some beautiful plays to get Lanier the ball in deep position. He's fouled that time. Oh, ooh, rolled it.
He knew it. He lays right in there. And Bob Lanier with 24. Free throw shooting, Milwaukee right now is 22 of 30. They've missed 8, and those are big, while San Antonio is 21 of 24.
Eddie, with Gervin and Mitchell and the offensive players they are, you sure don't want to go down to a last-second shot with them having the ball.
Here's Bratz. They want to go to Gervin. They've isolated him. He's 1-on-1, now 1-on-2. He's got every shot you can imagine and then some. He had 3 people on him.
Left-handed scoop.
Yeah, he just comes up with shots you wouldn't believe. And Brian Winters at the other end on Bratz. I like that matchup, John. I think that he can light Bratz up pretty good.
All night long, and you know he can. He can get that shot, even though that was still a tough shot. Bratz is a good defensive player, but once you get him into position, you can shoot over him, and it's 2:30 to play in this game.
Okay, look where they set up Gervin now. He's low box right, played by Moncrief. There's Bratz. Brian plays him over the pick by Mike Mitchell. Now the step-out switch, and you've got Mitchell all by himself, and a foul call on Mickey Johnson, and that's a bad one, John. That's 5. And they put the worst man they could possibly put at the line there for San Antonio. And Mickey Johnson, I believe, is fouled out of the game. Mickey Johnson has fouled out of the ball game, and that is the worst man that they could put at the line.
Okay, Mickey's upset with that, but I think they had to make this call. He does a great job of trying to get there to cut off the baseline. Now look, Brian's up on Bratz. Bratz works the baseline well. Look at that quick move. Went right by Brian in that situation. Mickey tries to cut it off. He gets the foul. It was a good call. Hate to see it go, Mick, but it was.
So Mickey fouls out of the ball game. It's 124-120. They can go ahead by 6 with 2:37. Boy, they have funny-looking 7s on their scoreboard. Bratz spins out flat. Boy, I'm telling you, Bratz, he had no trajectory on that shot at all. Nelly and Killalay. Killalay will be talking to the defense. Becomes very important from this point on.
And everyone else. Killer is vocal out here, and he really does talk to him. Bratz normally does not get good arc on his ball, but he normally shoots it pretty well.
Yeah, but he was a lot softer on the second one than he was the first. He threw up a real brick. 125-120. Bryant, oh boy, deflected momentarily.
My goodness, he does it again. The Bucks had about 5 options off of that offensive set. The first 2 didn't work.
He has 20.
Got a hold.
Winters with 20, and it's down to a 3-point game.
Can't trade hoops, Eddie. Got to shut him down.
And Cummings is getting set to come back in for scoring purposes. Now they're going to try and clear out and get a little one-on-one game going. Double team, Mitchell, and a foul. They double him up, and the foul will be on whom?
Well, it's either on Bob Lanier or Marcus, as Lanier came over nicely to give that double team help.
Lanier comes out of the ball game. Pat Cummings comes in. Bob Lanier can't believe he's being removed. In just a few minutes, we'll be naming the Miller High Life Channel 18 Player of the Game. A $100 donation will be made to the MAC Fund, Midwest Athletes Against Childhood Cancer, in the name of tonight's most valuable buck. No question about who the most valuable Spur is. Mike Mitchell with 37 points so far. That's 1 better than his former season high. Look at the rainbow he throws up. 127-122, and time is not an ally. The hourglass is tilted, and the Bucks are running out of sand. 127-122. Moncrief, Quinn Buckner. Mike Bratz is on him. Mitchell is denying Marcus the inside. On the come around, they double him up. Tough. He's been tough all night. He hit it again. Oh my goodness.
Oh my. Is he amazing? Eddie, the Spurs knew where the ball was going. They tried to double him up. Everyone in the building knew where it was going. Brian still gets it. But now again, 1:20 to go. You cannot trade hoops.
Well, this is where they have to stop him, Johnny Mac. You're right. No trading hoops here. They've got Brian on Gervin. They've got to get help on him. Marcus Gervin, tough, off the glass. Bucks have got it. Here they come. They have a 4-1 goal rush. Bratz is back in the middle. Oh, no! Blew it. They blew the opportunity.
Oh, my.
I'm out. Oh, boy. It's a 1-point game, and now it's
up just for a second. Get it to Buckner, and then let him make the play right or left. That's hindsight, right? That's 100% always.
Now let's see. There very long. Lanier was in during that last exchange also. George Johnson, Mike Bratz, who's played a lot, Gene Banks, got to get it in within 5, and there it is. Remember, 1:02 to play. Three-pointer, Brian Winters, he's been red hot. He's got 2 more. It's down. It's down to a 2-pointer with 55 seconds to play.
Eddie, that was 4-point range. Is he amazing? Oh.
He's got the radar up tonight. They've got to hold him now, Johnny Mac. This is the big trip down the floor. Now, that's the man they want to get it to. Look at him. He doesn't even sweat. Well, that's scary. I'll tell you, that's scary.
No, it is.
When you play all that time and don't sweat, man, you got a bionic person. Who's got it? Oh, baby, they've got it. 129, 127. What a ball game here tonight. Brian got to get 2, Marcus. Here's that hot pretzel. And a foul. And a chance to tie it right here.
I can't believe it. Oh, Eddie. I'm getting excited.
I can tell.
All right, Don Nelson was up yelling, "Go!" There for a moment when the Bucks did get the ball back. They were looking to Nelly to call a timeout, and he was saying, "Go! Take your chance, take your opportunities on the break," which is what they did do, and that resulted in the foul.
We do not have any official timeouts remaining for the Bucks. I believe they have a 20. I believe. I'm not sure. So that if they had to,
no, I think Lanier took. No, you're right. I think Lanier took that 20 for his contact this second half.
You might be right, Johnny Mac. Listen to the crowd here. They got to him. They got to the big man. 22 seconds to play in the ball game, and you know that San Antonio is going to sit on it. 1-point game. 129-128, and the Spurs will take their final timeout. Oh, boy, that hurts. Well, what did I say? I hope I'm not prophetic about missed free throws possibly having something to do with this ball game and a close game, and you give up that many missed free throws. You know, people probably get a little upset by having me remind them of the fact that the Bucks have not been good at the line, but the fact is that they've missed 9. They're 22 of 31. They've been much better here in the second half, while the Spurs have missed 4. The difference in the game right now is 1. Free throws are very important.
They certainly are, but of course every facet of the game is. Now, 22 seconds to go. They'll have it midcourt. Actually, they can take it at in-court if they like. We've seen Don Nelson do that before because he feels he has more room at the end of the floor, and other coaches in other situations feel that you want to take it half court to get it away from their basket. Now, the Spurs obviously will sit on it. The Bucks will go for the steal. If there is no steal, they'll have to take the foul, put them on the line. Who do you want to put on the line? Well, they're not going to give it to the guy that you'd want to put on the line if it's a George Johnson in the game, although he's a good free throw shooter, isn't he?
Not bad.
Really, you can't figure that at this point. The Bucks will have to try to double up. They'll try to steal. You'll probably see the Spurs try to keep the ball in the middle of the floor as much as possible so they can see the defense set up.
A 2-point play would still allow an opportunity for a 3-point play if the Bucks could get the ball back in time.
Well, and that's why, Eddie, if it starts to run down, you got to take the foul with enough time for you to set up a 3-pointer if you have to. You just can't. They won't let the clock run all the way down.
Now, Harvey Catchings is in there, obviously, for defensive purposes. Brian Winters, Quinn Buckner, Bob Lanier, and wait a minute. No, Bob Lanier is not in there. Moncrief, Marcus Johnson, Harvey Catchings, Quinn Buckner, Brian Winters. And Corzine is in at the other end. They've got Tinkerbell Banks, and look at the offensive set the way they have them stacked up the other end.
And they're going inline rather than midcourt.
Mitchell, they'll use the floor. They get to Bratz. 5 seconds. Corzine comes back and helps out. Good play by Corzine. Shot clock will run down. Remember, you got to get it over the 10-second line. Up they come. Banks. Now there's the man they want possession of the ball. Now with the shot clock down to 11.
Time to foul. All right. That's a foul on Banks. That's the youngest guy on the floor. That's who you probably want to foul.
68% free throw shooter. If he misses one of the 2, the Bucks are still right in there.
He'll miss one of them.
Gene Banks. 129, 128, 9 seconds to play. And there's Junior Bridgman coming in.
And don't forget, even if he makes them both, the Bucks still have time to run some type of a 3-pointer. The only thing is, everyone in the state will know who it's going to.
Quinn Buckner and Harvey Catchings come out. Moncrief and Bridgman come in. And we'll see if the torch is lit. It certainly was in the first half. Bridgman in the ball game tonight, 26 points. That matches a season high. Mike Mitchell will come out.
Now
They'll
remember,
have defensive men in there. They've got Brodson, Corzine, and Banks, and Johnny Moore, and George Gervin.
now remember this, the Bucks do not have a timeout. Consequently, you're going to see the Spurs maybe apply a little pressure, make the Bucks take a lot of time to get it up the floor. That's why maybe a foul a little bit earlier might have been better.
Here's the first one. Looks good.
That's the tough one. They get easier after that.
All right, we're talking to the young rookie from Duke. He's going to be a player. He's a second-round draft choice. Gene Banks. Ambition is to be the governor of Pennsylvania. First team All-ACC. Last year averaged 16.8 and 6.8 rebounds a game with the Duke Blue Devils. This is the big one. Takes his time, bangs it down to the floor.
Short.
Oh. Brian Winters. He gets the pressure.
Got to go for three.
It's on the way. John looks good. Oh! Oh!
Do you believe it?
I don't believe it. Was he fouled? Was he fouled?
No.
Oh, I don't believe it.
I do not believe it. He banked it. Unbelievable shot. That is my hero.
Boy, bring him out of the seats back in Wisconsin.
Look at this. Look, everyone knows who's going to shoot it. I don't know why they don't even come up and double team him. Why guard somebody under the basket? It doesn't matter if they give up two. Look at that. In and out and in. It's a banker. It's a luck shot, Brian. I hate to say it, but when you bank it off from three-pointer, a little luck in there.
Sidney Moncrief, Marcus Johnson. Marcus with one foul. Mike Mitchell is in there. He's been dynamite all night long. Mitchell with three. Gervin, he doesn't even perspire. I mean, he's scary. I'm telling you. He's got three, and they win the tip.
Eddie, you tell me that three-point shot is not exciting and something to be in this game.
And look at him. As Buckner and the Bucks come on down with a 2-on-1. He's got Marcus on the right wing. It evens out to 2-on-2. Now 3-on-2. He's been there all night. Why not continue, Brian Winters? Why not continue?
You got it going, don't you?
133.
You came right out of your seat when he made that three-pointer.
Oh, my goodness.
I was right up behind you.
Is there a laundry open tonight? 133-131. Score of the basketball game. Back to Moore. Down to Mitchell. Double team foul. Good if it goes. He's at the line for one. Boy, he's something. How about a hand from Mike Mitchell, folks? Has he been great? He's got 40 points. Unbelievable. Here's another look.
He's something. He's everything we thought we said he was coming into the game and thought he was all along. This is his game, post-up play, and even post-up play 10 to 15 feet from the basket. How do you stop it? The defense was right there on him. Of course, the foul occurred, and he still puts it in.
A three-pointer by Mike Mitchell. 134, 133, 4:25 to play. Bucks with one team foul in the overtime. On the fourth, you shoot the penalty. Brian again. He got hit on the arm, and he still hit it.
That time he ducked behind the screen. The defense came over the top. Great screen by Lanier, and Brian dumps into the corner.
He's a one-alarm fire, folks. He is that hot tonight. Every battalion in San Antonio would have a hard time putting that fire out right now. Rich Gervin. Crossover. Put him on an ice cube. Cool him down. Moore, Gervin, Brian. Lanier has to help. There he is. Brian picked and cleaned him and then knocked it out of bounds. 3 seconds on the shot clock. They'll get 5 on the inbound.
What do you mean put him on an ice cube? The guy lives in an ice box. Ice box?
Is he cool, isn't he? Lanier knocked it away. Corzine got it anyway. Down to 4, down to 3. Here's Corzine wide open. Oh, my. Gervin with a tip, no block out. Well, how do you stop him? 136, 135. Yo-yo time in the OT. 3:37 to play in the ball game. Boy, am I enjoying this one. Lanier, pump fake, does a 360. Left hand hook, baby. Get down there.
Tough shot, Dauber. You missed the free throw and make the tough one, you big guy. That is a hard and yet soft shot, meaning hard to put in, but soft shot got it.
That's like one of Arnie's Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Nice and soft and fluffy, right?
All good.
137, 136. By 1. 3:15 to play here in the ball game's overtime. Here's Gene Banks. They double him up from the strong side. He put it up. No, follow-up rebound. Their offensive rebounding has been phenomenal.
Yes, it has.
They really have done the job concentrating on the offensive rebound.
Banks wanted to take Moncrief, but Marcus counters there. The Bucks getting it up quickly before the defense can set up for the Spurs.
That's a clutch shot after the rhythm bounce, and he hit the little baseline J. 12 points for Marcus J. 139-136. Mitchell wants the ball to his left hand on the left side, or his right hand on the left side. Moore can't go to it. Buckner reaches in and gets the foul. Good defense. You talk about intensity. That's such an overused word in sports, John. I almost hate to hear it. So many sportscasters use it, and I do too, so I'm just as guilty. But you talk about that level right now. It is intense, extreme intense, if you can, if you will. And I know you will because you're as excited as I am right now.
I'm not going to bail you out of any of this.
I don't want you to. Lanier is out. Harvey Catchings in. 5 seconds, They got it. You got a turnover, Milwaukee. That's what I was trying to say when I said that's intense.
Hey, the Bucks defense, it's outstanding, Eddie. It's just been superb when it has to be, and that time it had to be, and the Bucks forced him into 5. Nelly says, "Good call."
Nelly wanted to get Pat Cummings in the game, and Pat was sitting on the bench. And he said, "Nelly, I didn't hear you," and Nelly just about drove his foot through the floorboards here. 139-136 to score the ball game. Marcus to Harvey. That's not the man you want to shoot the ball.
That's who he wanted to get him in for, just for the offensive set.
Shot clock to 2. 2-1. Marcus, he forces one. Rim. And the rebound by Corzine. Good block out by Corzine.
Could have used that hoop.
2:10 to play. Johnny Mack in the overtime. Moore with that quick pedal to the middle. Gervin, lean in. It's on the way. Air special. Who's got it? Corzine. Oh, boy. Corzine. They've got to get somebody in on him. 139-138. Him out, Buckner. Rainbow, baby! And we're doing a lot of screaming tonight, folks, but I think it calls for it. Once in a while, you got to let it all hang out, right?
Well, that is exciting. Buckner that time did not even give it a second thought. He came up with that good rhythm to put it in. Now they're going to go to that man.
Gervin had his foot stepped on by Bryant. That's a pretty good ploy right there.
That's right.
That's a good ploy. Lane to the floor, hook feed, Buckner. Oh, man, what a pass by Bryant.
What else can he do?
Left hand, no look, slingshot feed.
Don't count the hay in the barn yet.
Oh, hay in the barn.
That's right.
Don't let the horse out of the barn. Isn't that what they used to say down in Brown County?
Yeah, oh, sure.
All right, here we go. They have Marcus Bryan, Buckner, and Moncrief. Gervin all by himself. Look at them step up on the D. That's good if it goes. It won't. He is uncanny.
He's like a mole digging his way through the defense. That time he just has to lower his head. The Bucks come up and double team him well. The Bucks have played him superbly tonight at the defensive end. Now watch it here. They ran a set play that the Bucks took away pretty nicely. Now it's broken down, and you just go to the man that can orchestrate very well. He's an artist.
He'll get 2 shots, Johnny Mack. That's the 3rd team foul for the Bucks. They have nothing left now. Any other foul from here on, 1 plus the penalty.
The Spurs have no team fouls.
That could be a factor also. We're down to 127. Iceman, 29 points. He had 10 at halftime. He had 33 the first time they played. 140 to 133.
That's his average, 33.
All these trips down are important, says Stan Albright. Tighten up on the D. This is what he's got to be most proud of, I think, with this team. Even though there's a lot of points up there tonight, they can play the D when they have to. And they have to now.
7 on the shot.
Come on, Sidney. Got the thrust into the attacking zone. There it is. Tough shot. Tough shot. Defense was there. Letting Dorado within 1. Here they go with Moore. Corzine trying to fill out the break. Nice move by Johnny Moore. Corzine.
They call the foul. Boy, oh boy. I don't know. You know, Moore that time, really, he threw up a hope. That was a bad shot. He got out of a lot of trouble because the official called the foul. And Moncrief, I don't know.
He threw up a bad shot at the other end.
What I was saying is Moncrief was going to the official saying something to him. I don't think he agreed with it. Look at that push off on Moore there. That could have been a foul. Look at this. Now, who should that be on? Offense or defense?
I'll tell you, that was a weak call.
That was. If anything, it probably was on the offensive player.
We're getting a little emotional, perhaps, but then again, we're being honest.
Well,
Eddie, I thought it was a weak call.
First of all, he pushed Buckner off with the arm, and then he jumped into Moncrief. I thought, okay, all right.
Johnny Moore, he misses the first. He gets the second. It's a 2-point ball game. It's 143 to 141. 52 seconds to play.
Let's get one here.
Remember, the Bucks are home Wednesday against Chicago, and plenty of ducats are available. We want to see this team before playoff time because they are a good basketball club. I'm talking about the Bucks. On top, they go to Lanier. They try and run Ryan backdoor. There he is, tough behind the basket. How does he do it? I can't believe that man is even real tonight. He's got 34 points. He's by. Stephen Dane LeDuc here down in San Antone. Don Nelson with Quinn Buckner, Bob Lanier, Brian Winters, Marcus Johnson, Sidney Moncrief. They come back in with Gene Banks, Johnny Moore, Mike Mitchell, Dave Corzine, and the Iceman George Gervin. 36 seconds to play. Milwaukee by 4.
Let's set the stage. The Spurs will want to get a shot fairly quickly so that the Bucks will have to take one at the other end, and the Spurs will have an opportunity to get it back.
How about that 5-second inbound violation? Looks big. Gervin pops off the screen.
That's it.
I mean, he fired that baby off the glass. You talk about quick draw. He is incredible.
He is incredible, and they have time now. Even if the Bucks run the clock down and miss, the Spurs will have time to get a good shot.
This is the biggest trip down the floor tonight, with the exception of the one that Bryant put up with 1 second to play from 28 feet out.
I don't think they have any timeouts left, though, Eddie. That means they couldn't get it at midcourt.
There's your big man. That's the man I want right there. They got it back. Here they come. 9 seconds remaining. They can tie it right here. They're going to call a timeout.
20.
He's got to get it in and almost did not.
He walked.
5 seconds. There's Mitchell. He's lit the house up tonight. Corzine deep in the corner.
Oh, my goodness.
Mitchell. Overtime. Second overtime. Second overtime. Corzine with Bratz, and the Bucks win the tap. Now they've got to really put some heat on. The Spurs team has played outstanding basketball. George Gervin, he wants Moncrief, and he'll get it. Bring it down. Cannot take so much time to set up. They are too far out by the time the clock gets down to 5 or 6 seconds. Marcus forced to take the outside shot. That hurt. See, the Bucks are not getting the inside shot, the high percentage shots. Here's Gervin. Oh my. Can't give it to him. Can't give that shot to him. 147, 145. Now let's see if the Bucks can get it inside. Tough all night long. He's got it again. He's got what? He's got 36.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, brother.
He owns Bratz and everybody else that plays him. But let me say this, the Spurs defense has been good. We've seen the Bucks put in maybe the last 4 or 5 hoops they've made have just been tough shots, and they've made them.
You got to help out on him, John. And on the overlay, there's a foul, offensive foul called on Gervin. Rarely does he get a call against him.
I know, that is amazing. He doesn't turn it over that often, although...
Excuse me, 7 turnovers. The Spurs with 21. Boy.
That pass was underthrown as they tried to lob it to Marcus.
147,
Look,
147.
Gervin open again.
No, can't give it to him. Cannot give it to him. Somebody is not on Gervin. 3:50 to play. Second overtime. Pat Cummings, don't force it, Pat. Don't force it. Listen to me. Brian Winters. Up to Moncrief. Bucks on the road. Quinn. He drills.
He ain't been real bad either, has he, shooting that ball?
He's got 18 points in the ball game. Quinn Buckner with 9 field goals. He hasn't had a free throw yet. Let's see how this defense works now. 149, the score of the basketball game.
Screen with Gervin and Mitchell. Who else would you want to work with?
Got to help him out, John. Got to help him out.
Well, they're coming over on the double team. What they're doing, they're clearing out, and they're keeping Mitchell and Gervin working 2-man basketball. Everyone else on the other side.
What a show we have seen tonight. Cummings, no sir. Kept live, they've got it. Fighting for it. Tie him up, somebody. Down to 2:57 to play. Remember, they were trailing by 5 with 1:37 in the first overtime and tied it. Mike Mitchell, George Gervin, the 2 people we highlighted at the outset of the show, and they've been great. On by himself again. Oh, boy, is he something. Is he something. They did a good job of releasing and going back to cover the other end.
And Gervin's the guy they keep down under the basket as the offensive player under the press.
Here's Bratz. Bratz looking for Mitchell. Marcus is on him. They flash Mitchell to the middle, and Corzine looking for him. They can't. The clock to 2, to 1. He fires one in desperation, and they get it back. And a 24-second violation.
That's right.
I think the Bucks may have caught a break there. Do you?
I don't know.
I think they caught a break. I think he got the shot away in time.
Well, he got the shot away in time. Yeah. They got to call a jump ball. Durham, he blew it saying it did not hit the glass, but it did.
Well, they do what they have to do. They call a jump ball. And Stan Albeck has got a legit complaint right there.
Yeah, Mitchell had the rebound. And probably would have had an easy deuce.
153, 151. Who does the jump ball go between?
It'll go to the, I think, to the centers.
2:06 to play.
Right.
Corzine and Lanier. This is the biggest jump ball of the night. And the Bucks win it. Lanier uses his body.
How he leans in with his body on the right side and kicks it with his left arm, which is away from the ball.
There's the big man. He says, I want it. He's got it.
Good night.
153 with 1:53 to play. 4 straight points by the Bucks now. And the Spurs. This is where they go to their setup offense. Deep, Bryant, he picked it away. Good hands, up to Bridgman. He's got Bratz to beat, and he's fouled. And he'll go to the line.
Super defense when the Bucks had to come up with it, and that was a smart foul on Bratz.
Will he go to the line?
Yeah, he'll go. You mean if they've got to give
he was going to the basket, John.
They're not going to give that to him.
I do not believe that.
I don't believe that. Now, I'm telling you, that's inept officiating right there. You cannot tell me that man did not have a two. That's wrong, Eddie. For all you officials out there, that is wrong because I know you're complaining about us. That's wrong.
Okay, Bob Lanier on top. Marcus on the flash. Put it up, baby. He's got it anyway. 6 straight by the Bucks. 1:24 to play in the second overtime. Oh, man. I don't know if I can go another one if I had to. It's like the old days, Johnny Mac, when you were firing those rainbows.
Yeah.
Corzine all by himself.
That's short.
Hey, I tell you, Lanier did a good job defensively. He ran right out of his arm and yelled at him. Big Bob Lanier.
I tell you, I don't know why Corzine, he's taking a couple of shots here. Big mistake. When you got Mitchell and Gervin, what's that big guy doing shooting it?
1 minute to play. Second overtime. Brian Winters. Why not? Down to 8, to 7, to 6. In his face. Is it there? Oh, my gosh, I don't believe it.
Mike Bratz, I'm telling you, you better go home and wash.
In fact, that man right there is going to have a lot to do with it before it's all over, as he has. He's had 26 points since halftime. He's got 38 points in the game. And I'll tell you what.
Magnificent.
Julie, if I were you, I'd have a Miller beer right now.
Okay, Eddie.
What a performance Brian has put on for everyone tonight.
I think the Bucks have a foul to take if they really get in trouble.
157, 155.
Bratz. That guy is quick.
He's come up with 2 key hoops tonight, John. Once when they weren't watching him.
That's right.
And now we're down to 41 seconds.
Oh, he lost it.
How about that for a turnover? How about that for a turnover?
Wow.
Well, he committed a big one with 1 minute and 2 to play. Or about 1 minute and 8 to play in the regulation with a 3-on-1 break and a no-look blind pass. But the Bucks eventually tied it in regulation. Now he comes up with this one, and we're down to 36 seconds.
And remember,
36 seconds.
Bratz has done such a job tonight. Their starting guard in that position, Johnny Moore, has been on the pine.
Underneath, Corzine blocked. No foul. All right, 26 seconds to play in the ball game in the overtime, and the Bucks will take a time.
Delay of game warning on Milwaukee.
Delay of game warning.
Now listen, the Bucks have no timeouts. They've got to get it in. Okay, they get it in. Now, you want to run that shot clock down all the way, Eddie, because you don't want to give them an opportunity to have any shots at the other end.
22 seconds to play in the double overtime, Johnny Mac.
Look at the clear out.
13 seconds on the shot clock. All right, they're going to try and isolate. It's Gervin against Moncrief. Superstar on superstar. 6 seconds. 7. Pardon me. There it is. Oh,
okay.
Triple overtime.
This might be 4.
157, 157. I bet Bob Wolf's got the answer to that one. Here is Brian Winters now. He'll bring it on. He has been incredible. Mike Bratz. Well, if they're tired out there, they're playing on adrenaline at this point and loving it. Harvey Catchings, Marcus Johnson, a double screen set for Junior. There it is, and a foul. And they called the foul, but it was a little late. Offensive foul. Offensive foul. Big call by Terry Bull Durham.
Marcus Johnson got the offensive foul. They said he moved into the screen.
It's only Marcus's second foul of the night. That's Banks. Tough shot. Look at them bang the boards. We got a loose ball foul, and it's called against Corzine. Corzine doesn't want to believe it. I'll tell you something, John. When I saw Corzine play at DePaul, I had no idea that he would turn into being a decent NBA player. I thought he was just another big kid that rumbled up and down the floors in college.
But he's getting a lot of the playing time here.
He really is.
And that's what's helped make him the player that he has become. I didn't think he could do it either.
Brian's trying to find a way to get the ball to somebody, and he may have to do it alone. Junior over Bratz. Oh, boy. Harvey can't get a hold of it. 157. Well, we've played a minute and no one has scored yet in the triple overtime. Third overtime, Bob Lanier will get a call. Both these teams have had to come back down by 4 or 5 points in each of the overtimes in order to get to this point. Here's Banks. He's going to shoot it again. Boy, he's taking some shots, John. And here's Gervin. Jump ball.
And
Jump
again,
ball.
it's the Spurs really attacking the offensive boards well. Bryan played it well that time as they came down with the rebound. He waited for them. And in a situation like this, Gervin obviously with the advantage. We have a big fight going on up here in the stands. The Bucks will want to try to steal the tip, but protect the basket at the same time.
Gervin at 6'8", Bryan at 6'4.5" or 5. Gervin will step away. And the tap will go to the Spurs. 24-second clock, tie game, triple overtime, 3:48. No one has yet to score here in the third OT. Corzine, Bryan, Marcus is out on him. They're trying to find Gervin. There he is, 3-point range. He hit it. I mean, he hits from everywhere. But he was right on the line, just over the line, John, so he gets 2. Is he something? 42 points. He had 48 against the Celtics the other night. And he had 10 at halftime.
And that was regular 48 minutes. That was not any overtime.
Brian Winters.
Missed that one? No. It's amazing.
I love it.
Mike Bratz is talking to himself and everyone else. That time, a beautiful back screen. He could not get out to him. And his teammates really not giving him much help all night long on Brian Winters.
You think that Bratz is going to turn over at 4 in the morning and see Brian Winters' arm in his face?
It depends on if he wins or loses.
He's going to have nightmares about this one.
How about that guy?
Left hand hook by Gervin. Every shot that ever was conceived and then some.
Yeah, everyone's going to see him.
They double up Junior. He's got to get rid of the ball. Back to the weak side. Bryan on Bratz. Great. Well, that's not there.
That was blocked.
That was blocked. And the crowd going nuts because finally Brian Winters missed one.
He didn't miss it. It was blocked. There's a difference.
161, 159. Every trip down the floor means so doggone much. They got to keep it away from Gervin. And here's another guy that can shoot.
Yeah, but he's missed some big ones. Foul
Loose
on
ball
Bryan.
foul. Loose ball foul. It's on
Bryan.
Is it
No,
on
Moncrief.
Moncrief. Oh, man. This is a drainer. This is a drainer.
Here's Corzine again. He can shoot that one, Eddie, but he's missed about 3 key shots. 2 in that other in the second overtime, and now this one.
2:21 to play in the third overtime. Both teams at 1 team foul. 75% here for the Spurs in the second overtime in shooting.
That's fun,
the Bucks 63% in the second overtime in shooting. There's Gene Banks sitting down talking to us.
He says, unbelievable, man. I'm tired. I said, Gene, this is fun.
This is the kind of ball game you dream about when you're in college, Gene Banks, playing with the biggies.
He's quite a fine guy, by the way.
There's Gervin again, falls down. That's just enough. Moncrief fell down, and that was enough. There's a guy that's chewing on his mustache and clapping his hands at the same time. Do it. That other guy's having a hard time getting in step. And part of the throng here.
Well, I love that
12,000.
music. They have some great music down here. Toe tapping.
This is exciting. I'm telling you. Listen to this crowd. I tell you what, anybody that says the NBA isn't exciting after watching one of these games, I'll give you a number of a guy you can go see that'll charge you $60 an hour. 163, 159 the score. And a foul. Mitchell deflected the pass to Lanier, and Gene Banks in his haste over the back of Bob Lanier. And the foul will go on Banks in the second team foul. No, it isn't on Banks. Who is that on?
I thought it was on Corzine.
Corzine. Right. He's got 5, John. He's almost out of here. They can go to him right now.
Bucks catch a break at that point also because that ball was a turnover.
They can go to Lanier right now, see if they can get Corzine out of here. There's Bryan. I'm Bratz. There he is, right there. Back to Junior. The torch is burning. 163 to 161.
Do you realize how many pressure hoops so many of these guys have made tonight on both clubs?
28 points for Junior Bridgman, and trailing by 2 Banks to Bratz. He's come up with some big baskets. There's Gervin again. He scored 8 straight here. or 6 straight in the overtime. There he is again. Got to give him some help.
Look at that. That's a horse shot.
And Buckner's got a one-on-one.
Go.
Now he's got a 3-on-3. Back to Bridgman. Don't force it here. Bryant. One time, baby.
Oh,
no.
He's got
it back.
Shoot it.
Try it again. Bridgman. This is a big time down, Moose. 163, 161. Junior lost the ball. There's Banks. And out of bounds by Milwaukee. Junior lost the ball. Oh, you talk about turnovers. And a rubber like Gene Banks. Can't believe that he lost that.
Banks is certainly tiring a little bit. Buckner caught him as he went out. Magnificent effort by Buckner to get back in that situation to save an easy deuce.
1:08 to play in the game. There he is. 8 straight points in the third overtime by George
Come
Gervin.
on, Bucks. The clock's running as they're standing there talking.
Buckner. Confusion. The clock was running and the man let it go, and the Bucks have got a legitimate complaint here.
Yeah, it ran, and that's why I was yelling.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. They're supposed to stop the clock after made baskets here at this point in the game, and they did not. And they want to find out right here. They've got to roll that baby back. You were looked up, Johnny. You said the clock is rolling, but it wasn't supposed to be rolling.
No, that's right.
I was really taken back.
Well, I was too, because the last 2 minutes here.
That's right. They're rolling it back 10 seconds.
Well, he's trying to make up.
But what I like is Don Nelson taking this opportunity to talk to his team. While the Spurs are out on the floor, and Stan Albeck is over talking to the officials. That's like taking a 20-second timeout and not getting charged for it.
That's right. It's the same as
165 to 161. Triple overtime. 1:05 to play. Tremendous play on both sides. And they're going to come with a wall-to-wall. But the Bucks are going to get to Moncrief, give it to Bryant, he'll bring it up. Give it over to Quinn. Down to a minute now. 4-point ball game. Here's Moncrief, tries to curl, go back door. Bridgman. No, sir. Out of bounds to Milwaukee. Gene Banks doesn't believe it, and we have 49 seconds to play. Third overtime. Buckner out, Marcus Johnson in. So that means they'll move Moncrief back. No, he was there. What do we have?
No, Moncrief was playing forward in that situation.
Okay. All right. Bryant. Leap in leaner. Off the iron. Volleyball time. Who's got it? And a foul called against the Spurs.
No, I think it was on Bob Lanier. Loose ball foul on Bob Lanier for tipping it out that time. Yeah.
All right, 41 seconds to play in it.
Bucks in trouble now, Eddie. Brian with the lean in that time. You see the Bucks and the Spurs keep it alive. Lanier with the foul right there.
Brian Winters has missed his last 3 fouls, or last 3 shots. Now the Bucks are trying to foul somebody to get the ball back. They need it right here. There's Mitchell. He's all by himself.
Oh, big rebound by Banks. And they've done it quite a bit tonight. Now they can eat the clock up. The Bucks in trouble, 4 down.
165, 161. Down to 12 seconds. Mitchell, Corzine, goaltender. 6-point lead, San Antonio. And the third overtime. And the Bucks will take a time. And they are a weary group here tonight. Oh, what a game. And on the cue from our very exciting producer, Jack Stratmeyer, we're going to throw it away right here. 167, 161. This is the third overtime, folks, if you just joined. Bucks have established a new record for most points scored in any kind of a game. As Buckner will inbound the ball, they're trying to free up Bryant for a 3-pointer. And he's fouled by Bratz. Well, that's one way of getting rid of him. And that'll put Bryant at the line. 1 plus the penalty, and that's a good foul, John. Wait a minute. Come on, Terry Durham. You got to be informed that that is the 4th team foul, and now you'll put Brian Winters at the line for a 1 plus the penalty.
It is a good foul. That way they'll give up the 2 easily rather than giving the Bucks 3 and only leaving them 3 away. Consequently, you give up the 2. That makes the Bucks more than a 3-point shot away if Brian makes both.
I'm surprised Brian can even raise his arm up at this point. His previous season high was 40. He's got 41. We had him on TV the night he hit 40 against Denver. Brian Winters with 42. And they try and inbound. Nope, they won't. They're going to call a timeout. And Stan Albeck and the Spurs have really done a nice job here tonight. They've really done a nice job. Timeout, 167, 163, triple overtime. The Bucks have only had 11 turnovers all night long. They had 7 in regulation, which was the lowest that they have had all year. But 3 of the turnovers have really hurt them tonight, Johnny Mac. 2 by Marcus Johnson and 1 by Junior Bridgman have been very important. Plus some missed free throws. And the Bucks commit the foul with 6 seconds to play and down by 4. And they're going to put Mitchell at the line.
And the Bucks do not have any timeouts remaining. We have 1 remaining for the Spurs. Mitchell can put them 6 up, which is still 2 3-point plays away. It would be tough at this point.
Very.
Not impossible.
Marcus Johnson, Junior Bridgman, Quinn Buckner, Brian Winters, and Sidney Moncrief. And as you can see, they've got a very small team in there. Biggest buck on the floor right now is Marcus at 6'7". They have Corzine, Bratz, Mitchell, Gervin, and Gene Banks. Banks has played a lot of ball. I can see where he fits into Stan Albeck's future very nicely. This is 44 points for Mike Mitchell. This is his high watermark for the year. 36 the previous. Not out of ice it. Might be in the Amanda now. 5 seconds. Junior's got to get one away. There it is. That's got it. 1 second to play. 169 to 166. Gervin will hold, and it's all over. What a ball game here in San Antonio tonight. Triple overtime, and the Bucks lose. But they put on a magnificent show for a crowd of around 12,000. And it is unfortunate that some turnovers at the wrong time have hurt. But the Bucks put on one whale of a show for these folks here tonight. And they come away short and have now lost only 10 times on the road this year. But you saw perhaps one of the best ball games you've ever seen. On the backcourt foul with no time remaining, Gervin at the line. He'll get a chance to shoot 2. So the final score is not in the books yet. 171, 166. There it is. And George Gervin, with 50 points in the game. He has had 98 points the last 2 games. And what do we have here in the triple overtime for Gervin? He had 10 points in the 3rd overtime to lead the Spurs to this win here tonight.